I switched to my phone. I think my audio is weird.
It's all good. All right. We are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another session of the Golf Club Podcast, live out of San Francisco on this beautiful Wednesday night. As you guys can see, we have a full panel tonight. You guys already know my name is Will. I'm the host of this show, the Top Dog, host of the number one Polynesian podcaster in the world. We have another Wednesday hot topic for you guys, and we'll definitely would love to hear from what you guys have to say on the live chat. But before that, real quick, get your popcorn ready. Let's get it.
What are we arguing about?
A man is gonna do what a man wants to do.
All on your wrist. Make you my wife, you no longer my bitch.
Let's get it. My name is Will. I'm the host of this show, the number one Polynesian podcast in the world.
Dripping in Versace. All these other hoes trying to copy.
Women tend to bounce around in relationships. They can't stick and stay in a long-term relationship.
Again, don't agree with this. Just
So let's say, are you still in it? Are you still in it?
no. So you're basically saying I'm a whore.
This content is not suitable for the children under the age of 18 without adult supervision. Please be advised.
So I just wanted to take the time and make this video to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Love all the freaky things you do. My love was way overdue. That's when you came out the blue.
All right, welcome back, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to another session of the Golf Club Podcast, Wednesday Hot Topics. As always, thank you so much. We got a great show planned for you guys, as always. To all my subscribers, people to support my channel, thank you so much for all your love and support. You guys already know what to do. If you find value in the content and support the podcast, smash and press that like and subscribe button real quick. As always, this is a public show, so if you're watching this for the first time, you're tuning in, and you do want to jump on and be part of the podcast. I know a lot of you guys do ask me on IG, how do I join the podcast? This is the show where you can actually join from anywhere in the world. The link is posted in the description on the video. So just go to the description, click on that public link, and you'll be able to jump on, whether you're using your laptop or your phone, and be able to jump on and be part of the panel. So definitely encourage everybody out there, whether you agree or disagree, jump on, be part of the podcast. I would love to hear from different perspectives and be part of the conversation. And of course, if you have something to say, as always, I always appreciate people that support and donate to the channel. So you guys already know, if you want your voice to be heard, if you have something to say and you want me to read it for everybody to listen and hear and respond to, the best way to do it is ask it through a super chat, and I'll be able to put it on the screen, give a shout out, and I'll read it, and we get to respond to it. So I definitely encourage you guys to let me know what you guys think. Let's get that live chat popping. I see you live, love, plan, and pray. Hey, appreciate you. I see you in the live chat already. And of course, BL17, I see you in the live chat as well. Thank you so much. But let's get that live chat popping. Show some love in the live chat. Show some support. And if you recognize some of these great guests, the men and the women, let me know what you guys think on the live chat as well. But without further ado, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. That's all my YouTube stuff. We'll get right back into it. Excited for this podcast. Excited for this hot topic for tonight. And we're definitely going to engage into it. But I'll ask the panel real quick. Shout out to the panel. Thank you so much for making the time, as always, to be part of the panel, be part of the debate, and part of the podcast. But we'll start with the ladies, some quick intros. We'll go around the panel, and then we'll definitely come back to the main topic in hand, and we'll start the conversation. I'll start with you, Christine. Christine, good to see you. Great to have you back on the podcast. It's been a while, but if you don't mind, give yourself a quick intro for everybody out there.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. It has been about 2 years, I think, that I was on last time. So thank you again. For those who don't know, I'm Christine. I am a content creator, and I'm also a full-time accountant.
All right.
Really
Thank you so much, Christine.
accountant.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Christine. And she'll definitely get the opportunity to share her IG, so that way you guys can support her and follow her on her social media content as well. Okay, we'll keep it moving. I'll start with you, Mina. Mina, go ahead and give yourself a quick intro for everybody out there.
Hey, thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. This is going to be a good one. My name is Meta King, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. As always, thank you so much, Mina, for being part of the pod. We'll keep it moving. Yadi, go ahead and give yourself a quick intro.
Hi, everybody. My name's Yadi Carmen. I'm from Houston, Texas. And that's it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, Yadi. As always, I appreciate you for always supporting the pod. We'll keep it moving and pass it to the fellas. I'll start with you, M Hoop. M Hoop, good to have you back on the pod. Go ahead and give yourself a quick intro.
Hey, what's up, guys? Looking forward to being on the pod. Looking forward to a great conversation. My name is Matt, and I'm on the East Coast currently, so pretty stoked to have a little bit of dialogue going on for tonight. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, M Hoop. And last but not least, Devil, thank you for always jumping on the pod. Quick intro for everybody out there.
What's going on, man? It's always fun hopping on. I can't wait to get started. But you can call me David. It's a lot shorter than Devil's Advocate. Go with whatever you want, Devil. But yeah, no, I look forward to the conversation. I already got a couple ideas cooking up.
I know you got the statistics ready. All right.
Trying.
Got the stats. All right. Thank you, Devil. Ladies, shout out to the panel one more time. And thank you so much for all your introductions. Appreciate you guys. I see Brian on the live chat. Hey, woohoo. Hey, what's up, Brian? Always appreciate you being on the live chat and supporting. And I see the viewership is starting to go up. Thank you so much for you guys tuning in. Don't forget, this is a live show. So if you're tuning in for the very first time, you guys can join and be part of the panel. The link is in the description of the video. Definitely click on it, and you guys will definitely be able to jump on. I would definitely love to hear from all different perspectives, especially this topic. This is a hot topic. I see that's always debated on social media from the men and women. So I'm excited to hear what the ladies and the fellas have to say on this topic. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, if you want your voice to be heard, if you have something to say for me to read out and put it on the screen for everybody to hear and respond to, drop it through a super chat. And of course, thank you for all the financial donations. A lot of you guys do support my channel, and everything goes back to the podcast. I'll give you guys the best quality content. But nevertheless, we'll get right into it. And of course, you guys already know the Golf Club podcast. Have my golf cup ready. I'm ready. I just drank. I'm ready now. So always for all the Gava drinkers out there, appreciate you guys. Drink a cup for me. But nevertheless, let's get right into it. The topic we're discussing tonight: do modern women stay true to their standards, or do they break them for a certain type of man? Okay, so this is a very interesting topic. But before I go right into it, to kind of paint the picture for everybody, let me just play this clip. I saw this clip kind of go viral on TikTok, and then we will get to watch it. We get to react to it, and then I'll paint the picture for everybody, and then we'll go back one by one to hear from everybody's thoughts about this topic. Okay, so let me play the video real quick. We get to react to it, and of course, as you're watching the video, feel free to react and let me know what your reaction in the live chat. What do you guys think about it, especially from the ladies and the fellas? But let me play this video.
Guys that they don't see strong sexual chemistry in, the betas. And women will break rules for men that they see strong sexual chemistry in, aka the alphas. That's just how women operate. Whenever they've given the I don't do something until 5 dates, or I don't do something, whatever, you can always just add in your head with you. Because if it's a guy that she has strong attraction to, even if she's asexual, sapiosexual, or whatever vortex of bullshit is going on in her head at that time justifying why she's not dating or why she may not be interested, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day, because if her actions don't express her intent, then you have nothing else to believe.
All right. So that was a video I saw that went on TikTok, and there was an interesting debate between the men and women on the comments. And hey, Devil, what's his name? I totally forgot his name.
Rich Cooper.
Rich Cooper. There we go.
Yeah. Channel's Entrepreneurs in Cars.
Yeah, Entrepreneurs in Cars. All right. Thank you so much, M Hoop. Yeah, Rich Cooper. So there was a big debate on the comments. So you guys all know we live today in modern day 2023. It is the modern dating culture. It is no longer the traditional dating where men and women got married first and have sex and had children. We live in modern day culture. We live in hookup culture. We live in Tinder. We live in situationships. We live in side chicks, sneaky links, side dudes. So there's all these different situationships that people are in. So the debate was that a lot of the women today, modern women today, are going out there and being sexually active. They're going through their whole phase. They're starting OnlyFans. They're making explicit content. But when they're ready to settle down to have a committed relationship, then the next guy that comes up, they put a lot of high standards on those guys, but they did not put those standards on the very men in their past. So from the men's perspective, what they're saying is, because a lot of women are saying, where are all the good men? Where are all the masculine provider protectors and men that want loyalty, want relationships? And what the men's perspective is, well, why do I have to wait 5 days? Why do I have to take you out and court you when none of the men in your past never did that for you and never gave you a committed relationship, but you are putting those standards on me? So a lot of women are claiming, modern women today, I'm not saying all women, just to be fair, right? There are good women out there with high standards, but there are a lot of modern women out there who claim that I have high standards. But what a lot of the men are challenging is, well, if you have high standards, then why didn't you put those same high standards with the men in your past, but you're putting that on the next man, especially if you're that guy? So that's the debate we're having. That's the conflict I saw from that video. And that's not the only video. There's other videos out there I saw online. Hey, what's good? Well, hey, thank you for jumping on, Damien. All right, but I saw a lot of videos online, and they were debating this. So you guys already know I'm traditional. I'm into high standards for both men and women. I understand that, but I am also a guy, and I also understand I see this also at the same time, where a lot of modern women say, I have high standards. I want a high standard relationship. I want a high standard in the man, and I want to be treated like a woman, a lady. But a lot of the men are saying is, well, if that was a high standard, why did you break that for the quote unquote alpha fuck boy, But then you're trying to put that on me. So from the men's perspective, it's kind of unfair. But life isn't fair. That's just the reality. It is what it is. But I would love to hear from you guys what you guys think about this. Do women really stay true to their standards in today, modern day 2023? Is it, ladies? I'm interested to hear from the ladies. Is that true? Or let's be honest, women claim to have high standards, but the moment they come with the alpha, the moment they come with the fuck boy or bad boy, they'll break them. But then once they're got done with that, they'll try to go back to the nice guy or the beta and try to get that relationship from him because now she's way past that time. But it's an interesting conversation to have. I would love to have a fair perspective conversation for both men and the women. And of course, as you guys can see, I just added a public guest. Damien, thank you for joining the pod. It is a public show, so you guys can see we have a lot of room on this panel. I would love to hear from the women what you guys think, and the fellas as well, about today's topic. Do women today, do they really stay true to their standards? Or the reality is they have high standards, but they'll break it for a certain type of man. All right, so I'll start with the ladies first, and we'll go down to the panel. I'll start with you, Christine. I know it's a first time back, so let's just put you right into fire, right into it. But what do you think? Do women today, they stay true to their standards, or they have standards, but it depends on the certain type of man they're with? Go ahead, Christine.
There's so much I can say, but I think it comes down to each person and their personality. But I do think nowadays, like if we're not holding our traditional values and kind of being the traditional way, then yes, I feel like it's become so normalized to have situationships, to like be with a bad guy or just be with someone just for the looks and all of that. So I do think that they do break their standards, but again, it comes down to each person and their standards and how their character is.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you for sharing. I see you, big dog, barking on the live chat. Let's get that live chat popping. All right. Appreciate you guys for watching, tuning in. I would love to hear from what you guys have to say, but we'll keep it moving. Yadi, I'll pass it to you, Yadi. What do you think? Do modern women today stay true to their standards that they claim they say they have, or the reality is they break it, depending on the certain type of man?
I think Christine touched on something important about the whole situationship, right? Like, obviously, some women are going to take also depending on how it is that they're feeling, what the man has to offer, and everything like that. Like, she can have all these demands, but if she really wants somebody and that guy's not that into her, but she wants him for whatever reason, then she will be not true to her standards, the same standards that because she's not in her feminine power, right? She's more in the lack mentality. But I think like a true woman of value will keep her standards. And sometimes maybe she just didn't know what her standards were until she was with somebody that it was like, you know what, this doesn't work for me. So these are my standards. This is what's going to have to work for me from now on, So it's not like that it was easier for the other guy. It was just maybe giving too much, trying to find out where her balance was, or what it was she wanted. But I just think that a lot of the women nowadays, because once they're a certain age, or because if they're single with kids or whatever else, right? Like they're not the sought after women, then their standards will change, if that makes sense. So they will make the other guy that they're not that interested in work for it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Yadi. Appreciate that. We'll keep it moving, and then we'll come back to the fellas. Mina, what's your thoughts on the topic about the women today? Do they stay true to their standards, or the reality is, it depends on the certain type of man that she's with?
I think the ladies touched a really good base on it. That in a perfect world, yes, you would hope that the high standard woman sticks to her standards, but unfortunately, that's not always the case. You would like to, but sometimes it doesn't happen for whatever reason. That may be each his own. It could go down to the idea of you thought you knew a person and it ends up being something totally different as time progresses. Then you use it as an example. And then I don't think it's really like, oh, well, now she went through hell and now she meets somebody else and now she's putting the other person through hell. No, I think it's just you learn with each relationship that you get involved in, what your standards are, what you want, what you expect, what you demand. And I do think it fluctuates. It really does fluctuate. And also it depends how stubborn you are as a person. Like if you don't learn from it, then you're going to keep repeating the same damn cycle over and over and over and over again. So that's my input on that.
Okay. All right. Mina, thank you so much for sharing. I'll pass it to the fellas. I'll start with you. M-Hoop, what are your thoughts about tonight's topic? We hear from you guys. And I see Simon Hectic on the live chat. Let's get that live chat popping. We'd love to hear from what you guys have to say, the men and women. And of course, don't forget, this is a live show. So if it's public, if you do want to jump on, click on that link on the description of the video, and you guys can definitely jump on. But we'll pass it to you, M-Hoop. Well, what are your thoughts about the women today? Do modern women today keep those same standards? Do they stay true to it? Or the reality is it just depends on a certain type of man that she's with?
I think the ladies made some really good points, valid points. Coming from a male perspective, a lot of times my points are from observation. This time it's from personal experience. Almost every single time, if I get involved with somebody who's attracted with me, I can get away with almost anything that I want. And I will even go as far as to pay attention to the way that she even treats other people that might even be approaching her or getting at her in whatever their way is. And I'm telling you, right, and like the ladies had really good points too. Like sometimes it's lack of experience, naiveness, things like that maybe they will hold true to their standard as time goes on or as they get older. But I do think that absolutely. I've been in so many situations where, there have been moments where like I've like I guess you could say experimented and seen how far I can get away with, just for the sake of experiencing it. But absolutely, from a place of experience, it is very noticeable. I also think that it's not just a modern women thing. I think that this is more of like a human nature thing. It concerns both men and women. I think that men put up with things more. Everything is all good on paper, and your standards look beautiful on paper until the law of attraction comes into play. As soon as you get involved with somebody that you are truly attracted to, your standards, at least for the time being, will go out the door for the most part, because especially when somebody's putting on in the beginning stages of dating or getting to know somebody, everybody's putting on their best face forward, right? So we all don't want to let that little silliness come out right away. Or if you have like a little crazy side that you're aware of, you don't want to throw it out right away. So a lot of people will bypass a lot of their standards or anything like that. And so, yes, the short answer is I do believe, even though it is both men and women, women absolutely, since for the sake of the topic, absolutely they will. And the way that Rich Cooper put it was very basic. He has a more rudimentary approach to things, very based opinion on things, very straight to the point. And I think that he summed it up really well. But yes, I agree that they will compromise their own standards, at least in the very beginning when there's true attraction involved.
Okay. M Hoop, I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. I see Sharon Bracy on the live chat, LVG Reloaded, and Simon Hectic. Thank you so much for you guys. I think this is the first time I've seen you guys on the live chat. So I appreciate you guys being on the live chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I see you, Fatty. Yeah, Fatty, whenever you're ready, just jump in, and you guys definitely jump on and be part of the panel. But yeah, let's get that live chat popping. I see you, Rose, in the live chat. Let me know what you guys think. I will keep it moving. I'll pass it to you, Devil. Devil, what do you think? Do women today, modern women today actually stay true to their standards? Or in reality is, it just depends on the man that she's with?
I would say yes and no, because they break their rules for certain types of men. I think they break their standards to their own detriment, and then they hold true to their standards later in life, again to their own detriment. It's like a double whammy of bad decisions. And what I mean by that is, like, if you look at the women or the men that women break their rules for earlier in life, usually, I remember Yadi said that that men don't know that women don't know what their standards are when they're younger, and I agree with her. They usually just go off of intuition and infatuation, and then when they do try and set boundaries, like when they're in college or shortly after, they tend to break them when they're truly in love, right? So they break their standards they set for other men, or lines they draw when they're younger, and then when they get older, I think Mina said, or Mina, is it Mina? Mina said that you learn your standards over time, and I half agree with that, because if that were true, the older, or the more experienced a woman would be, then the better it would be for her, because she knows what her standards are. But it seems to me that older women, they reject a lot of men because of their standards that would otherwise be good for them. Like, they're not willing to compromise, and they're more stubborn and stuck in their ways. Like, if it just in general, as you get older, it's harder to kick a bad habit. And if a woman doesn't, and I date women, so I can't really speak to what women see about men they date, but if a woman isn't able to rid herself of a habit such as argumentativeness or flirting with other men and thinking it's okay if she can convince herself there was no intention, then it's going to be much harder and almost not even worth it to try and date a woman and teach her or train her out of that bad habit in a older age. So I half agree with Mayna in that, yes, they do learn their standards over time, but a lot of times they stick to these standards that aren't really realistic for guys that they can actually secure commitment from.
Can I ask you why you use the word trained? Like
train?
Like a dog?
Yeah, it has a bad, what word would you use instead? If a man's dating a woman and
no. Give me, it's literally like there. I just want to know where your mind, where it went, when it comes to that word, like why you use that word.
Well, my knee-jerk reaction is to go to the definition of it, because sometimes I could be wrong. Like I could have a misconception of the definition, and the definition is to teach a person or animal a particular skill or type of behavior through practice and instruction over a period of time. So when men say train, I see a lot of backlash from women online, and then they insert like, "Oh, you think we're animals," and that attaches us to like a negative connotation, like just for using a word. Now I see women
use that word too. Women use it all the time.
Oh, they do. So. And I don't think that either gender should be, given the definition, offended by it. Because I'm not that you are in particular, but I think the context that I use the word fits the definition perfectly. It's to teach a person a particular skill or type of behavior, and that behavior being not to convince yourself that unacceptable behavior is acceptable, to take feedback from your partner. And when you take feedback from your partner, like, hey, you definitely led this guy on in this conversation. That's why he's DMing you so much, or that's why he ended up pushing to hang out with you so much. It's because you said this, this, and this. And the woman's like, no, that's perfectly fine, blah, blah, blah. Like that is to teach someone a behavior and to instruct them over a period of time. And I honestly think that in the first place, that's not worth it. If you find yourself having to do that, I would much rather.
You don't believe that it went into like an authority role, like superior context? Like for example, like if a police officer were to say, "I demand you to get out of your car."
I would. I mean, it would depend what the law constitutes. Like if he said, I would ask probably like what is if he has reasonable suspicion of a crime, and then if the law constitutes it, then he has legitimacy in his demand. But the problem is with women, with the police, it's like there's the law, and if he pulls me out of the car, now I got a lawsuit, I'm getting a lot of money. But with women, it's like you winked at him after he responded to your story with a heart, and that led him on. So I don't think that type of behavior is okay for a relationship. And she can just say, fuck you, I think it's okay. Or, not something as abrupt, but there's no feedback loop. There's no law, and I see women pushing for more and more acceptance of that behavior by shaming men for using the word train. Or I was even going to go a step further to say, when men, the whole leadership and submission and superior, it's like now they're trying to shame us for wanting to lead in a relationship and use the word partner for the first time in history instead of husband.
I think lead and training is different though.
They are, but both of them are being shamed by women because they want more power and more of a say in men's behavior.
Can I jump in here? Shout out, DA. It's been a while.
Yeah, go ahead, Damien.
Good to see you.
What's going
on? I'm not single. I'm married. Been married for 15 years. Been my wife 17 years. Owned her for 20 years. And we throw the word train around. It's like, oh, I had to train you to not put his shoes in the living room or something like that. It's not in its connotation of just like I had to just kind of either nag you enough or just express how it bothered me enough. I think it can be overblown what trained actually means in a long-term committed relationship. I'm sure in long relationships, I've said it before, she said it before, but I don't think it's meant to be any kind of like demonstrative term where I'm just saying I'm better than you or I'm superior than you. It's just saying there's something that I like you to do, and I've expressed that I like it, and now you've adopted it in your behavior. That's basically what
Yeah,
it
no,
meant by
that's
like.
that sounds accurate. That sounds, you know, that
But
sounds.
that's training. So, but you know, but I think, like I said, but I can understand. And if, but don't get me wrong, if my wife was like, I don't want you to use that term, it's offensive to me, I'd find another term for it. You know, it's not a. I don't think
Right.
it's worth having
Yeah.
any type of like ill will in your house over a word. So, I get what you're saying, but it's one of those things where I think in the context of a relationship, it's not that serious.
You're picking your battles, and that's a smart, you know, way to move about things. I think a better conversation to have would be why is society so, you know, why did we move from a place where a word like train, when we look at the definition, perfectly innocent, as Damien kind of articulated, right? But if it bothers a woman so much, some men are willing to pick his battles and not die on that hill. But I think a more important question would be, why are we moving towards a culture where we're so offended by a word like train when it can go both ways? You know, God knows that men do.
I think it depends on like how it's being used. Just like
Okay.
with anything you say or anything you do, if nowadays with anything, with culture, with certain words, with certain things that you wear, with certain things that you do, I think if certain things get thrown around in a way where people don't really understand or can take it either way, it could cause, you know, the cancel or cause problematic situations because not everybody has good intent.
Yeah, I think if you approach it the way you approached it, was like, can you explain why you use the word train? What context are you referring to when you say train?
Mm-hmm.
And then the person has the terms to express it, and you'd be like, oh, okay, now we'll understand. Because
Right.
either they could say something that you're like, oh, I get what you're saying, or it could be like, no, that's offensive to me. You know, please rephrase or something like that. It's as long as you are your first reaction. I feel your first reaction is to ask for for try to gain understanding, as opposed to just immediately going to being mad or something like that about it. Then I think it can keep everything moving in a positive direction, as opposed to derailing everything, and then you focus on something else. Because
I think you're
I want to
completely
add
right.
something real quick. I think a lot of people put too much power into certain words, right? And like even if something was to trigger me or insult me or whatever, like why would I want to change? Like this person's just expressing through their own words, through their own lens, you know, like why not just step back and not grab to any of that, right? Like he wasn't saying, oh, I need to train me.
That's why you asked for clarification, though.
Trainer to sit or stand or anything.
That's why you asked for
no, you know, like it's just
you asked
a
for
word.
clarification.
I was gonna agree.
If you're offended, don't make it seem don't assume everybody should be offended by the same thing you are. If it offends me, exactly. Because some people like you, it just sounds like you yaddy that it wouldn't offend you at all if somebody said that. It's in the context of a relationship. Like you know, if some guy you just met was like, I need to train you to do something, you'd be like, whoa, I don't know you, you don't know me, kind of situation. But
I think I would just really laugh, right?
Like well, your reaction wouldn't be a positive one. You wouldn't be like, oh my God, that's the guy I want to hang out with. If the first couple of sentences was, I need to train you to do something, you know, unless it goes back to original topics, where about do you change your standards because of the person, which leads back into that. And so just to get back on that topic is, I think standards for most people, not just women and men, are aspirational. When you're single and dating, most of the standards I had were, this is the ideal situation or ideal person I want to be in. So I'm going to do everything I can to reach that. But as reality starts to set in, you start going, you know what? Maybe he doesn't have to be, you know, make $200,000 a year. Maybe he doesn't have to go to the gym 5 times a week or something like that. You start to like change those standards to fit the reality of where you are in life. You know, I don't necessarily think that they have no value, but I just think people become to the realization of, okay, they're thinking that there's just a bunch of guys making $250,000 a year walking around is not logical, and it's probably going to leave me by myself as opposed to meeting anybody if I'm Xing out guys because of that. So let me change that standard. But the barrier to entry is different depending on attraction. That's just human nature.
Oh yeah.
If you're really attracted to somebody, those standards can go way left or way right, depending on.
Yeah, and it's a problem that most couples today, I think, after that word is said, there is no questioning. Like, Maina calmly, ask me why I use the word. I think, unfortunately, we're at a place today in culture where the rest of the interaction or date or interaction with your girlfriend or spouse is going to be sour because we, as a culture, we can't take a step back and look up the definition of the word and realize that, assuming the guy wasn't obviously saying it in a degrading way, like one day I'll train you to sit or something like that.
You got to have build up that comfort level in order to say those things. Like I said, my wife couldn't have said anything to me like that on the first date, and I'm sure I wouldn't have said anything on the first couple of days. It's after a level of comfort and trust has been built up, then you can start using terminology that would otherwise be offensive to somebody you don't know.
Yeah, and I do have my only pushback to that would be when we get into how speech, and not like the N-word or not like phrases that are obviously degrading, but an innocent use of like my example I had used my first time I used the word. You probably saw that I paused before I used the word train because I was trying to think of a better word because I knew the reaction it typically gets. But for well-intentioned use of a normal word, I think that it's really sad that we're in a place where the way something makes someone feel compels speech, because that's a spectrum. And at one end of the spectrum is like how Canada just made a law where you can get fined for misgendering someone. And then on the other end of that spectrum is, somebody saying, calling, a black person the N-word in public or something like that in a derogatory way. Yeah, so I think
most people are against legislating consideration. You can't. It's my consideration if I do Thursday. You don't legislate me to my consideration. I get what you're saying. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And I'm not saying you would even be on that side. I'm just saying that I like to identify those slippery slopes well ahead of, as soon as people start reacting to words whose definitions are perfectly normal. And my example was a girl leading a guy on Instagram and it causing problems in a relationship. That's a much more common problem than someone saying the N-word or getting fined for misgendering someone. But it's crazy that like we've already slipped so far down the slope where we're there.
But we digress. Let's get back onto the topic. I think Will he probably has had his way he wanted to go, a path he was trying to take this on. So let's not derail the show by focusing on that.
Let me just step in real quick to add on, keep it moving. Appreciate you. Thank you, Devil. Thank you, Damien. Appreciate everybody in the live chat. We have a full panel tonight. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Let me know what you guys think. And don't forget, it is a public show. So if you do want to jump on, the link is in the description. You guys can jump on, whether you agree or disagree. We definitely would love to hear from more people. But we'll keep it moving. Fatty, thank you so much. Big dog barking. I'll definitely come to you. Thank you for jumping on as a public guest. But Fatty, I'll pass it to you. You already know the topic that we're discussing tonight. Do modern women, do they actually stay true to their standards, or the reality is it just depends on the certain type of man that she's with?
Women have no standards or words. And thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate you. The hour changed during Europe already, and I didn't know that it didn't change in the United States. So this is why I'm like, I apologize. So the thing about a woman is that a woman will she's going to be aligned with the person that she likes. I think a woman will break all the rules if she likes you enough. If she likes you enough, she will experiment everything. Her worst food. A woman that likes you will sleep with you on barbed wire. That's how women are conditioned to be. If they like you enough, they will make a ton of rules for the guy that they are kind of iffy about. Oh, what is your car? What is your house? What is your job? Are you a pilot? Do you make $1 million per year? And then when they like the guy, McDonald's, glass of water, and they fuck on the back of the car. It's fine. There's what usually women do when they like you. So absolutely, they will make the rules for the guys they don't like, and they break the rules for the guy they like.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Fatty. Appreciate it. And also thank you for all the Team Fatty supporters, the Untouchables in the live chat. Thank you so much. Shout out to you guys in the live chat. I see T.O. in the live chat with the super chat. Shout out to Will Panel and to the chat down here in the trenches. Chats lives matter. LOL. Hey, shout out to you, T.O. Thank you so much for your super chat donation. Appreciate you. All right. But I appreciate you guys. You guys are going hard in the live chat. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. We definitely have more subtopics to discuss for tonight's panel, but we'll keep it moving. Big Dog Barking, thank you for jumping on as a public guest. Yeah, well, what are your opening thoughts on the topic? Do modern women, do they actually stay true to their standards, or it just really depends on the certain type of man that she's with?
First off, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like to appreciate you for allowing me to be on your panel tonight. Like I said in the chat, it all depends on the attraction the woman has towards you. Because like Fatty said, if you are attracted to a certain female, she'll break all the rules for you. There's nothing she won't do for you if she's attracted to you. But if you one of those guys that's playing the fence, she'll make you work harder to get that attention from her. So that's the truth. It's like if you're attracted to her, it's nothing she won't do. Like Fatty said, she'll go to McDonald's, drink a glass of water, and go get smashed in the backseat of the car. But if you on the fence, like he look good, but I don't know, she'll go through the whole dating process just to see how much can you get her attention and attraction from her. So they don't hold their standards if they really like you. They'll put the standards on you if they kind of flip-flopping, see if you really about that or not.
Okay. All right, Big Dog Barking, thank you for joining and thank you for sharing. But let me open it up. Let me open up real quick. Does anybody here want to add on to what somebody said here from the ladies, fellas?
Yeah, I don't think it's like, I agree with what Fatty and what Big Dog said. Like, you know, if they like you enough, that you're attracted enough, then a lot of those standards will go to winner. But I think that's a short-term thing. I don't think they're going to do it for the long term, unless they may get knocked up or something like that, then get pregnant, then it can extend it for a little bit longer, because then they're trying to make something out of nothing. Because a lot of women don't want to feel like, oh my God, I've wasted this time, energy, and now I got a baby with this kid. Maybe it can become something. Women really are investing in like creating something out of nothing a lot of times. But I think there's a time frame on that. There's like, okay, I'm gonna experience this thing, and then, but you're never going to get the full commitment. You're never going to get 100% of what you could get, and then somebody else. It still leaves the door open for somebody else to come and swoop in. You know, because what you've done is, if you come and if you are like Fatty said, if you take them to McDonald's and doing it in the back seat all the time, the dude who's going to take him to Bruce Chris, and he's halfway decent, she's going to be like, I need something different. So let me lower my standard to get something that's a lot more significant, or something that I'm going to be a lot happier with. So like I said, there's a time frame on that, that McDonald's and water in the back seat, if in most cases.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Damien, for sure. And to add to that, what's being said right now is absolutely time sensitive. Results will vary as well. So if you're a dude that thinks that can get away with stuff initially, do not think that that's going to last, because it won't. And if a dude comes across that seems that he is providing a higher standard for what she actually initially was looking for, then your immediate relationship will be on the rocks. You most likely will end up getting your heart hurt. So if you're inexperienced in relationships, I would not use the fact that this topic, even the ladies are agreeing with it, that there can be, a little bit of give and take. It absolutely is not for the long term. And generally speaking, that you can't just get away with like whatever, your money or good dick game forever. Like, it's just not going to last forever. So I've seen dudes get their heart broken for any sort of reason. So just don't keep that in mind if you're not sure or lack a certain level of experience. It's not a long-term form of approaching dating.
I actually agree with him, because there's two different conversations. Is how you get a woman and how you keep a woman. Getting a woman is easy. Keeping a woman is the difficult part. And the part about keeping a woman, that woman starts to have the wandering eye when you have the dick game and she likes you, but you have no money, but their peers have money, and she starts to think, what the hell is going on here? Or when we have all the money, but she's hanging around men that have actually know how to talk with her, make her feel good and all that, and she's like, why does my husband has all the money, but it doesn't? Something is not like nowadays when women go wandering around. So to get a woman, you can use whatever your forte is, either a house, muscles, a big car, whatever you do. But to keep a woman, you need to be versatile and be an all-around player, because if you're not, she's going to wonder what the guy that has the 20% that you don't have might do for her. And that's when men usually get into trouble.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I had
Christine, I think you want to say something? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to add to that. Like you guys mentioned, short amount of time. I think because a lot of the times, especially from personal experience, it's short term because we break our boundaries and then we realize that, either they hurt us or something happens and we realize that, oh, like I just broke my boundaries and he's not even the person I want to be with. So you either end up hurt or you end up not going with them. And then later you're like, okay, I can never break my boundaries again. Like I have to be disciplined. I have to stay set with that. Or else, like Minna said, it's like a cycle. It's going to keep repeating every time like you're breaking that boundaries.
Well, I look at it like crypto and penny stocks. It's like it's a low barrier of entry with a possible reward, high reward to it. And so you'll break your rules, you'll break your boundary because it's temptation. So you'll invest in that short-term temptation, hoping that it might turn into something long-term. But in the back of your mind, you see all the red flags, you see the bad behavior and all that, and that's attractive. Just like a crypto. You got 1,000,001 cryptocurrencies out there. Which one of them is the right one that's going to blow up like Bitcoin? So that's what all that is attractive, but is it going to be worth it long-term?
Now you are flexing on us, sir.
There's a psychology
with the golden teeth, sir.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like I've heard that so many times from women. It's like, man, he's 6'4" with light eyes and dimples and abs. If he could just keep a job, he'd be perfect.
He'd be perfect.
If you just got off that crack pipe, he'd be the man. That's what I'm saying.
Damien, there's a huge psychology behind that. Actually, they've hired psychologists at social media companies and gaming companies because the prospect of an uncertain reward is actually implemented in things like gambling, and it makes you addicted to, like in games now, it's not just you need 20,000 tokens for this gun or this sword, it's you need 10,000 tokens for a chest, and when you open the chest you might get it and you might not, and that keeps people super addicted. They literally hired people to addict kids to games and gambling.
It's gambling.
Yeah, and that's kind of what, to speak to what Big Dog was saying, and that's what fuckboys are to women. It's like, yeah, I could go with Steve the accountant. He's 5'8", he's a little chubby, but he would marry me. He would come to every date 15 minutes early. He wouldn't cheat. But that star football player or that star athlete or that celebrity that texts me back 3 days later. Oh, he texted me back finally. Like,
a lot of women will step over good and consistent for the potential of fantastic and for a fantastic life, and that to their detriment for a long time until they get their mind right. They'll be like, oh my God, yes, like you said, Steve the accountant, he makes a great living there, never cheat on me, but I could just be sitting in the wives row at the NBA game at the, that would just be amazing.
Steve will always be there for me. They think. Guess what happens when Steve, works his way up to senior partner and starts doing an accounting for a large tech company, and now he's head of finance.
Yeah,
Steve ain't got time for you no more.
Steve might not be texting back right away anymore. But the problem, though, those guys are the fresh meat for the OnlyFans models because they don't have any experience with women. So that's how, like, some of the older, cash out. But unfortunately, there are places like the Manosphere that educate guys like Steve before he gets his stuff taken. But too many Steves out there.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just thank you so much. Let me just read some super chats real quick. CTO If she with me, I'm her standard. LOL. All right. All right, T.O. Thank you so much for the super chat. And I see the salute to Will in the panel. Hi, Mena. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Appreciate you, D. Thank you so much for all your super chat donations. Appreciate you guys as always. If you want your voice to be heard, if you want me to read something you want to say in front of everybody, that way people can see it. And of course, give you a shout out. Definitely drop a super chat. I really appreciate you guys donating to the show. And don't forget, this is a public show. If you want to jump on, the link is on the description of the video. Click on that link and definitely come on. I want to ask this topic, and we'll keep it moving. And thank you so much for all the fellas and the ladies. But I want to explore more on that topic about training, because that's something I do hear from a lot of women. They get upset or they get triggered from that term, getting trained by a man. Oh, let me add one more guest. Give me 1 second. All right.
Ooh.
Hey, how you doing, Annalyn?
Hi, guys. Good morning.
No.
I know it's early. I know it's early for you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's 10 to 4 in the morning.
10 to 4. Yeah. Well.
Yes. So I got up early for you guys.
No, I really do appreciate you making the time. I know the time zones. So I really appreciate
pleasure.
you. Thank you so much. Excited. But you know what? Let me just pass it to you. Give you some time. Do you want to give yourself a quick intro for everybody out there, and then I'll ask you the topic, and then you kind of explore what your general thoughts are for the topic we're discussing tonight. But give yourself a quick intro for everybody out there.
I'm Annalyn. I'm 43. I'm from Norway, which is why the time difference. I am a mom of 3. I'm a special needs mom. I am also very much gay. So you might see my wife looming around in the background every now and then. And I am a kindergarten teacher, so I have a degree in early childhood education. Other than that, I'm addicted to TikTok and coffee.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Annalyn, for jumping on. But we were just discussing the topic we're discussing tonight. We're just discussing do women today, especially today in this very sexual active culture with hookups, Tinder, dating, where a lot of women say they want high standard. They want to have high standards for themselves, and they want high standard men. But then oftentimes they will break it. They will break those same standards for a certain type of man, the man that she really likes. So that's the conversation we're having. I want to ask you what's your general thoughts about the topic, just to open it up for you. Do you think that modern women today, especially in today's dating culture, which is no longer non-traditional, it's more progressive today and very open sexually. So do you think that women today really have high standards when it comes to the relationship that they want and the type of man that they want? Or it just really depends on the man that she'll give high standards to one man, but then for the man she really likes, she'll break it for that man? What do you think about that?
In general, I think women should hold any man or any potential partner to the standard they feel appropriate. I don't think it has much to do with traditional values or non-traditional values or gender. I think the whole dating thing is, or at least should be, more about connection and getting to know each other more than trying to make someone be someone you want them to be, or looking for someone in particular. Or if you do have a certain set of values, like if you are like Latter-day Saints, I'm sorry, my voice is cracking. It's early. If you are like Latter-day Saints and you want a Latter-day Saints partner, or if you are Muslim and want a Muslim partner, I think, of course, these are characteristics you would go looking for. But as soon, I'm a little bit stressed about the whole traditional being held as, the pinnacle of everything, that is the good thing. I think dating is and should be about connection, not necessarily, this is the package that I want. And women should hold themselves to whichever standard they think is appropriate at any time. And if that changes from person to person, I give to you what you deserve of me, so to speak. And if you get a lesser version of me, that might mean that you deserve a lesser version of me, and you might have to ask yourself why.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Annalyn. Fatty, you wanted to respond? Go ahead, Fatty.
I have a question. Did you ever date men? And if yes, do your standards for men were the same that you have for when you're dating women? Like when you have
yes,
and
dated.
The standards are the same?
I dated. I not only did I date men, I was married to a man for 20 years. Yes.
Interesting.
So I did the whole traditional route. I mean, Norway is a very progressive country, and equality is, very much in the forefront here. And gender roles are, although they are still here, we do have not only maternity leave but also paternity leave, so for the whole family. So the traditionality of it is more equally, shared between the parents. But yes, what I look for in a partner is what I look for in a partner. My standards for what I want for myself and for my own happiness are the same with men and as they are with women.
So you don't believe in gender roles?
No, not really. I think gender roles are based in society. I do accept that genders are different. We have a male body and we have a female body, and we do know that biologically some people have a little bit of a crossover, and I think that also happens when it comes to societal norms. But I think that for the most part, gender roles are based in societal rules, and I think it's healthy to challenge them a little bit.
And can I ask you a question? It seems like me and you, I'm aligned with what you're saying completely. I'm older than you. You're 43. I'm 48. But do you think that the way you think? Do you feel like you always felt like that, or that's come with age and experience and just kind of come to a lot of realizations over time? Because I can say my insights that I have now were not the insight I had 20 years ago. When I was 28 years old, out in the world, single, out doing stuff, no, it was, you give me, a nice fat ass, and a lot of those standards can kind of go out the door and stuff like that. I think, do you feel like you had the same sentiment 20 years ago when it was 23-year-old Annalyn as opposed to 43-year-old Annalyn, who's had the experience to kind of develop a little bit more insight?
No, there's definitely been what can you say? An evolution of the way I think and the way I see the world. My 19-year-old self, when I started dating my ex-husband when I was 18, and I had barely dated before that. And we got together young, and we wanted to have a baby young, and we started trying for that. And my goal in life was to be a stay-at-home mom. I said openly, I am not a feminist. I want to stay at home with my kids, and I want to live my life the traditional way. And then, fast forward to now, I am a raging feminist. I work full time, and I want to keep furthering my education. And I try to inspire my daughter to do the same.
But were you a stay-at-home mother? You were a stay-at-home mother for
a few years, yes. I was a stay-at-home mother until my daughter, my youngest, was 7, and then I went back to school and I started university.
See, and the reason I was asking that question, because a lot of times the standards aren't necessarily changing; they're just developing to where you are in life. That's what it is. Yes. A lot of times it's like people say, but don't get me wrong, your point, Will, is pretty accurate. There's some times where it's just, I need him to be this. Oh my God, he looks like Michael B. Jordan. Forget all that. That does happen. But I just say, but that's the one-off. I'm like, traditionally, what will happen is the standards will just kind of be reimagined and reevaluated as your experience and your age and things like that. You start to get older with experience and age. You just reevaluate those standards and see if they actually apply to where you are.
But Damien, doesn't that go against the veto thing that we talk about on our panels all the time?
What's up?
My number one rule is you can veto for nobody because You will change in 5 years. You'll not be the same person that you were in 2017. And a lot of you married men, you push back on that. No, you have to do your homework and da 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 da. We have a woman that her dream was something when she was younger, and then she evolved into something that was not the person when she got married. And you were saying, I agree and I get it. It's life, it happens. But I apologize. Not the only foreigner on this panel. But that's the thing. I think that this kind of proves, and I think everybody with the common sense would know, that you are not on year 10, on year 15, on year 20, you're not married with the same person that you married when you were younger.
Oh, absolutely. My wife is the woman's laying in the bed in the other room is not the same woman that I walked down the aisle with. 100% different. Not 100%, but it's 100% agree with that. But life has changed. And the thing is, we've stayed in communication and stayed connected enough to where the changes were incremental enough to where we can have time to adjust to it. Like there's a big difference. Like if my wife were to wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm attracted to women and I want to be with a woman. That's a different than, hey, you know, I don't want to go out anymore. I don't like, or I'm you know, something less significant. You know, like I think me and my wife, we've experienced a lot of not insignificant, but smaller changes, incremental changes that we've had the time to adjust to. And I think, yes, but which in totality makes it to where she's different from the person she's now. She's a mother of 3 now. Of course, she's not the same woman I saw wearing, you know, the pot pans at the party, you know, which she could be, but it's just like she doesn't want to be that. And
that's actually perfect. So, Will,
yeah,
can we answer the question of the show again? Do modern women stay true to their standards, or do they break it for the bad boy?
Yeah, for
if
certain
you
type of
allow
men.
me, if you allow me, the question is, does woman word matters? Can we trust a woman's words? That actually, to be honest, in my opinion, like most men are very iffy in believing in a woman's word. We usually, on my country, we say, women write their word in sand. Every time a wave comes, it is what it is, right? Can we trust a woman's word when she says, I want this?
Let me ask it to the ladies. Let me bring it back to the ladies so we get everybody involved real quick. And then, but that's actually a good question, you know, because there are women out there claiming, this is what I want, this is my standards. But for a lot of men, they fall for it. But the guys who have experience knows that a lot of women will say this, but their behavior will not match what they claim or what they say. So that's why a lot of guys always say, you know, look at her behavior, and the men who she's having sex with. The men in her past will tell you what type of man she's really interested in. So if all her men in the past are 6'5", and you're 5'11", and she's saying that she wants you, you're gonna have to be objective on that. But let me read some super chats real quick, and then I'll pass it to the ladies. Shout out to you, MC Heavy Tits. Oh, how many women have
That's exactly what it is.
How many women have access to the star player or anyone on the team, especially since most women are considered overweight? All right, fair assessment. Thank you so much for sharing that super chat. T.O. in the live chat said, women of today are confused and want men to be confused with them, but then also want men know at the same time. LOL. All right, thank you, T.O. And then T.O. also had another question for Annalyn, raging feminist. What does that mean? All right, shout out to everybody.
I'm interested in hearing that.
All right, so thank you so much, all you guys, super chatting. As always, thank you for donating to the channel. And if you want your voice to be heard and for me to read something for everybody to hear, definitely drop it through a super chat and I'll be able to read it and respond to you. So let me pass it back to the ladies. The ladies, I want to ask you guys, should men really listen to what women are saying? Should we trust your word that this is my standards, this is what I want, or should we look at your behavior or your past men? So to Fatty's point, should we really trust a woman when you're taking her out on a date and she tells you, this is my standard, this is what I want? Or should we really do our research and due diligence? I'll start with you, Christine.
Well, same goes to the men, right? Can we trust every word that a man says? Because
absolutely not.
Yeah. So
Next. Now that we got there, go ahead.
Don't
Now you get
deflect
all
it.
back to your court.
Don't answer the question with a question.
Because I think it goes both ways, right? If our words are not matching our action, you have to kind of build that. You have to get to know the person and see from day one if everything they're saying is matching their actions. And there was actually a video I came across, like, women, we have like our menstrual cycle, we have PMS, like our moods, our emotions, our feelings change week to week probably because of the things we go through. But there was a video, it also said that men's like idea, or like what's them called, their thoughts or something change every 10 or 15 minutes. So it's like, oh, if you ask them if they're hungry now and then you ask them 15 minutes, they might, change their answer. So I think it goes both ways, because we can change our feelings, we can change our mind, any given second. So we can't really trust anything anyone does.
So yes or no? Do we trust you? Yes? No?
Well, for me, my words usually match my actions. So yes, you can trust me. So
Okay. Okay. All right.
This is a catch 22.
Will, you're going to let her get away with that, Will? For
Fatty,
real?
this is a
That's
catch
what we are.
22. It's because like liars are going to tell you they're telling the truth, and people who tell the truth tell you they're going to tell the truth. So asking the women is utterly pointless. No offense. But it's a catch.
Christine, just to keep it real, like, have you ever broke your standards before for a certain type of man?
I have.
So basically, your
Atta
word
girl,
is
way to be
50-50,
honest.
right?
Go ahead, big dog.
I said basically your word is 50-50 then, right?
I'm being honest. So like I said, like we change a lot, and yes, we do sometimes change for the person, like our standards. So
you're contradicting yourself.
But she's only lying to herself. She's not lying to the person that she's with. She's lying to herself and say, this is what my standard, but it can change then it's not really her standard. It's her ideal. It's kind of like I said, it's aspirational.
No, we're not going to do that, Damien. There's a difference between what I want and deal breakers. Deal breakers is something that nobody should touch no matter what they do. Okay. Right?
We have to define what's the difference between a deal breaker and a
But
standard.
if you put the standard and you say, I only drink water, and somebody brings you, here's a Coke. You look steady. Yum, 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 yum. Then we have a problem, right? It's kind of, you see what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Have you ever broke the rules for a man that you like?
Me?
We talking to Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, case closed. All right. But thank you, Christine. We'll keep it moving. Yadi. So that's the question. Should men really trust modern women today about her word of what her standards are? Should we trust it 100%? Go ahead, Yadi.
I don't think anybody should be trusted 100%. To be honest, actions speak louder than words, and getting to know somebody is what's really going to speak to you, no matter what they say, right? So that's my thought on that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that, Yadi. We'll keep it moving. Mena, should we trust women today about what their standards are? What they want.
I think, like Yadi said, actions speak louder than words. Do what's suitable for you, and vice versa. Men, women, however you label yourself, whatever the case may be, do what's best for you. People evolve, people change, and that's inevitable. And that's what it is. You can paint it however you want to paint it. You can draw it however you want to draw it. If you're not evolving, then there's a problem, a serious problem. So, like I said, actions speak louder than words, and things change, people change, concepts change, ideas change. Life is constantly changing till you're dead. So I think that's how that goes.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Mena. And if Addie, you wanted to say something?
Just real quick for Mena. So, Mena, if I get in a monogamous relationship with you, and 10 years afterwards, I said, I evolve. I want Carmen now and you at the same time, both of us in one bed. Do what's best for you. That's what you said. Is okay? Is that okay?
Wait, Fatty, what? Explain that again. Where's
I
your logic? Hold
married
on.
men.
Break it down because I have to follow your logic.
I'm sorry, it's my accent. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I married men, right? I love you, I love you, I love you. And 7 years later, I evolved into somebody that doesn't want a monogamous relationship anymore. And because you said that I should do what's best for me, now I want Carmen too. I want both of you. Now I don't want to get rid of you. I want both of you. I evolve and I'm doing what's best for me. Are you okay with that?
So no, because if we didn't agree, for example, this is honestly what I would do. No, seriously. Listen, Patty, let me tell you this.
Okay.
I'm married to you, right? And actually, I've had this conversation with an ex that I had.
Damn, you're married? You cheated on me?
Yes, I guess I did. I'm so sorry. I guess the truth comes out. But besides the point, so what happened was this, that, after you're with somebody for so long, you get curious, whatever have you. Some people forgive, some people don't. And me personally, the person I was with wanted to explore. And I will give them respect because they were honest to me about it.
What happened?
But that was not what I wanted. I didn't want an open relationship. That's what he wanted. Originally, when we came together, it was monogamy. That's what we agreed on. A couple years go by. He's curious. He wants to try something new. Then go see if you can find what you're looking for. But I just can't accept it. That's my boundary. And that's
so it's not. So it's not okay to evolve, and it's not okay to do what's right for you. Because if you do it, you're going to be punished.
Fatty. That's not an evolution. You always wanted Carmen. You always wanted her. You just didn't feel comfortable enough in the situation to say it, or you just weren't done enough with Minna to say to shoot you to take the option of possibly losing her.
That's totally fair. So that's totally fair. So Annalene, did she evolve, or she always wanted that, and she was repressing her true feelings about it?
Oh, I always wanted that.
No. So Damien, is that an evolution?
No, I'm just saying. What happened was there was a comfort level that you had to get comfortable enough to where you feel like it was safe enough for you to say that, and she would receive it in a positive way, or you had to be almost done enough to where if she received it in the next bad way and she's ready to leave you, you'd be like,
do you guys understand that you're making my case even worse? What you guys are selling is that, with all the respect, and we are kind of neighbors, that she was faking for 20 years. The person that she was, which is worse. No. You said that if it's not an evolution and the person doesn't change and they always wanted that, they were playing a person that was not there.
Some people don't evolve together, though. That's part of life. Like, you want to do different things. Like, and unfortunately, the truth is, it does happen. It does.
I thought that I was the left here.
Betty, I got a question that'll tie into this.
But for example, your example of like if me and you were married, and obviously I would assume that like, okay, you're expressing to me, right? Oh, I have a crush. I want to sleep with somebody else. If I'm not okay with it, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, sure, honey. Like,
no, we are past that.
I respect it. It's fine. Go do what you do.
No, Minna, we are past that. We are past that. What Damien said, and Annalene, and I'm sorry, Devil. I promise you, I will be shut up for web prep. Okay. What Damien told was, and she confirmed it, I always wanted to do that. So you get into a relationship with a man, you sell I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, when you always was a raging feminist and you always wanted to do whatever you wanted to do. And as soon as you get what you want, you eat the switch and bite and you go on your life. You marry a woman and you now are strong and independent and whatever.
Are you talking about somebody else's story? Or
No. I'm not telling. I'm talking with Damien. I'm not talking with Annalene, and Annalene has the right actually to defend herself, right? Isn't that worse, Damien? A person that is pretending that she is one person when she actually is another one?
No. Things can be. Let me finish. All right, you want me to answer? So basically, what it is, I feel like things can grow over time. They can come from a curiosity to an infatuation to an obsession to really come to think like, this is what I need. Things can grow over time
into like something else.
Exactly. I was looking for evolve. I'm like, over time, it doesn't come out of anywhere. It was always there, but then you realize you get a point to your life. You feel like, you know what? I'm getting too old to not live my best possible life. So why would I live in something that's not going to take me to the rest of my life?
That comes with time, and that
But-
comes with years.
Let me pass it to Annalyn real quick, and then
Yeah.
so we can finish the women panel, and then we'll come to the fellas. I know you guys have time to respond, but I'll come right back to you. I'll come right back to you, Devil. Annalyn, I'll pass it to you. I know if you want to respond to what some of the guys were saying. Also, we were talking about should men today should they 100% trust modern women today based on what they want and their standards that they set themselves for?
I think every person should believe any other person in what standards that person sets for themselves. I don't think that has anything to do with gender. I think that if you are meeting someone you are interested in dating them, and they tell you that you do not measure up to whatever standard they have set for themselves, that is them telling you, sorry, not interested. And it should be respected, whether it be something as trivial as height, or if it's something bigger and more important, like religious issues or political issues. But if somebody tells you their standard, why should you not believe them?
You don't think of any reason why people should not believe what they're saying as far as their standards? You don't think any reason they should think?
No. When I met my wife, she was not looking for someone with kids, but then she met me, and that changed. Thank God. Because I think that, like we said, like somebody said, there are deal breakers. I have my deal breakers.
Her deal breaker was not having a woman with a kid, and then she met you and she changed her mind?
No, that was not a deal breaker, but she wasn't looking for that. But a deal breaker for me would have been if she had wanted a kid. That would have been a deal breaker for me. I am all done doing that baby stuff. So that would have been a deal breaker for me. I could not have entered into a relationship with anyone who wanted a child. And that is, she would just have to believe me on that certain, issue. Because why would anyone lie about their standards is what I'm asking, pretty much.
Because you did. You wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and you believe in tradition.
No,
and then you
it's not.
switch it up for a strong and independent woman.
But wanting to be a stay-at-home mother and wanting to be a strong and independent woman is not a standard I had set for my ex-husband. That is something I did.
You said you wanted to. That was your dream.
Yes, but that is not.
That's your standard. That's what your dream. That's your main goal.
No.
What is the dream then?
That is what I set for myself. That has nothing to do with my standard in a man. That is
You
just
only
what I
can
wanted
be a
for myself.
stay-at-home. You can only be a stay-at-home mom if somebody cooperates and carries the burdens of the bills. It's not just about you. It's about the husband that is going to have to carry more load.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you like I talk to my kids at work. Can you close your mouth and open your ears, please?
Yes, miss.
What I said was that when I was 20, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mother.
Yes.
My then husband was fine with that. And together, we, evolved together. Like somebody else said, we don't always evolve together. We did for many, many years. We evolved together. He supported me going back to school. That is what a relationship is. You communicate, you try to grow together, work together. That has nothing to do with standards when it comes to dating. Standards when it comes to dating, I think, is something completely different and is more trivial. But if you are in a committed relationship with someone in a marriage, and you're talking staying together for life, pretty much, you try to evolve together, which we did. So I was a stay-at-home mother, and that was what I wanted when I was 20. And then over time, I changed it.
Okay, so I'm going to talk with you like I talk with slow kids, right? You didn't believe in gender roles at all. No, you actually believed. No, you believed in them. You believed in gender roles, right?
Yes.
You believe I am a woman. I'll raise my kid. I'll be a stay-at-home mom, which is the definition of gender role. And then you grew up into a raging feminine that doesn't believe in gender roles, like you said, and that treats a man and a woman the same way because this is society and all shit. You changed everything about you. So when you do it, own it. Don't say that's not the standard. You going from gender roles to not gender roles is the biggest shift that you can have in relationship with the woman and the man.
And I'm not saying
So,
I'm not
no,
saying I didn't
no,
change.
one
I'm
second.
saying it's
We
not a
don't-
standard.
Okay, let me just say this, right?
I think we
I
have
don't
the
want to, yeah, no, let
different
me just say
definition
this
of the word
so we
standard.
don't, I don't want to fight you. I know I'm a little curious because your case is actually fascinating. I'm fatty. I'm from Portugal. I am the biggest lefty you're probably going to catch on these panels. I'm okay with lesbians. I'm okay with no rules. I'm okay with all that. I'm just saying that you contradicted yourself, and I'm not trying to targeting you. I'm just pointing the contradictions that you said. Okay, I don't want to fight you. I just want to make sure that you know that. Okay, I'm not judging you at all. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Can I ask a question to the panel that'll get us all involved, and it speaks perfectly to evolving? It's a simple question, show of hands, and this will get everyone involved. So, would you say that women marry men hoping that they will change? And like, just show of hands. And an example of that would be how there's statistically women leave men, the divorce rate spikes when they begin to out earn a man, citing his lack of ambition. So, things relating to his personality traits. Do women, because the full saying is women marry men hoping they will change, and men marry women hoping they won't. And that statement was ringing in my head throughout this entire conversation. That's why I was about to have an aneurysm every time somebody was adding to the conversation, because it was just repeating over and over. So does anyone agree with the first statement that women marry men hoping they will change? Meaning that if that man doesn't earn more money,
I agree with it. I agree with it.
He's probably out.
Largely,
And
women, I'll add to that. Women will break their standards hoping that they can change the man that they're with to abide by their standards.
That's right.
I will agree with that as
Okay,
well.
so I
I agree
had
with
a
that.
feeling the men would agree, but I want to hear from the women too. I see a nod from Yadi. What about the other three?
So Yadi, yes. Christine?
Yeah, but again, it kind of depends, right? Like, do you mean change, like them changing and become a better version of themselves, or like changing their like personality and like the way they act?
It's a good question. So the example I used is like, say he works at UPS and you get your 3% increase a year or whatever. I've seen women leave guys that work at UPS or have like, that's a higher than the average household income. My old roommate used to work at UPS. He was making about $65K a year, but he would work like 50 hours a week. So, it's more like 40K when you control for overtime. But, and then another reason I hear from women a lot is like, he dealt drugs or smoked weed when she got with him, but then at 35, he still did it, even though it's legal now, and she left him because she, felt like she had evolved. Or the third and final one is that she started to out earn him. Those are the like three huge ones. So I would say all of those are more intrinsic to the man. He's not like becoming abusive. He's the same person, and she's no longer
tough,
that.
DA, because when you say women, the inference is that you're saying all women.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that can. I don't know if I could answer all
most
women hope
Do you
that men
see
will
how?
change.
Okay, so
I'm
if
just
I
saying,
would
if
have
you
said
say
what
some,
women
or you
tend
say
to,
a higher percentage, or do you think half?
yeah, I think you're
I don't
being the
know.
language police right now, though, because I'm
No.
speaking-
There's it means something when you put that, when you qualify it like
okay.
that.
Women tend to, and I can do that all day till Sunday. I was an economics major, so you wouldn't believe how much the minutia matter in economics. So if I would have said women tend to marry men thinking they will change, and then go with the same three examples I used. We have two women left, Mania and Annalyn.
Yeah.
What do you guys? Would you guys agree with that general statement that?
Yeah, Manna, do you agree with that? Oh, go ahead, Annalyn. Go ahead.
I don't normally believe in generalizations, but we do know it is fact that a lot of younger women believe that they can change their partners. There are also men who believe that they can change their partners. That rarely works out well.
Yeah.
But as when it comes to divorcing because they out earn them,
Now, the divorce rate spikes when women begin to out earn men. That doesn't mean that all women leave their men when that happens.
No, but is it because the women leave the men because they earn more, or is it because the men turn into little babies because their ladies earn more?
I would say
sulk about it.
I would say it's a combination of the both.
Yeah, that's going to take us down a whole new.
I would
agree with that.
not be with a partner who was bitchy about me earning more.
Well, I see women say that men are intimidated by them earning more, and that might be a good thing to touch on after this. But we're only at the first part. The second part was, do men marry women thinking that they won't change and they end up changing? So, like, it looks like all of the men and half of the women agreed with the general trend that women tend to marry men thinking they will change. They'll have a vision of the man in the future, much more successful, or not smoking weed, or something that's a part of him that you can't blame him for not leaving. Like, you know, looking back at it, you'd look at your woman and be like, listen, he dealt drugs. Would you expect him to stop smoking weed 10 years later? Like, that's your fault for, you know, thinking he wouldn't, unless he told you he'd stop for you. So then the second part, raise of hands for men tend to marry women thinking they won't change. So Annalyn, I don't mean to use you as an example, but when Fatty started speaking to you as an example, that kind of is what made me think of this whole thing. But I think your situation, again, is very rare statistically in terms of, you know, a woman being in a 20-year marriage to then being in, you know, with another woman. So I don't want to ring your example because that's you.
No, that's fine. You know.
Okay.
I can be the poster child of the late blooming lesbian. That's fine.
Well, yeah, but then the answer is, you know.
I don't think that's fair, though. I really don't think that that's fair, because you said that it's a rare occurrence. It's not a rare occurrence.
I was talking about.
You're seeing it more now. You're seeing it more now openly, but it's not a rare occurrence. It happens. So I don't think that's very fair to say as the label of it's her situation is so unique, because it happens.
Let me.
I don't think that's fair for her.
Let me ask you this question though. It's like she was married for 20 years and now all of a sudden she's a raging feminist and she's a lesbian.
No, I was a raging feminist while I was married too.
Okay, so the question I gotta ask for your situation was you always a lesbian when you was married to your husband?
I have not identified as straight since I was 18. I have considered myself bisexual, but I was married to a man and I was in a committed relationship with a man. So you know, I that was what I was. And then our relationship was not working for a myriad of reasons. And then when I found myself in the middle of a divorce, my now wonderful, beautiful lady came, you know, sailing into my life and stayed.
Oh,
and I know that now that I will never ever be able to be physically intimate with a man ever again.
So when you was married, did your husband know you was a bisexual?
Yes, he was the first person I told.
Okay.
After you were married or before?
About 6 months into our dating, I think.
Okay.
Okay, and so he knew what he was dealing with when he married you.
He knew that he was in a committed relationship with a person who happened to be attracted to men and women.
Okay.
So the reason I was saying her case isn't as common is because of married women, how many of them, not openly, but just are bisexual? And of those that are bisexual, how many get divorced? And of those that get divorced, how many end up lesbian? So I was just speaking numerically. You can't argue with that her situation is rare in that aspect. So I probably should have used 3 examples like I did the other way. Like, women tend to leave men when they out earn, if the divorce rate spikes, can't argue against it. Or women, the ways that women say men, they had envisioned men changing, as Annalyn eloquently put it. That's a great example too, because that's common. So what are 3 common examples of ways that men marry women thinking they won't change and they do? So for example, a lot of curveballs are like women gaining weight after pregnancy. That's something that a lot of couples statistically like have to work through, and that's something that men don't have to deal with our bodies, you know. Or stop having sex with their husband. I mean, I've heard that a lot, right? So that's like men marrying women thinking they won't change, honeymoon phase, now the sex is once a month or non-existent. I think that there is some weight to that saying. And that's not me saying that There's no husbands out there that don't have sex with their wife. I just think that saying really hit home because it speaks to the standards changing. It speaks to evolution, right? There's a lot of men, if he smokes weed, you better be okay with him smoking weed 10 years from now.
Okay, so what was your question exactly? Because you put in a lot from what you're trying to express after we touched based on that.
Yeah.
The question itself.
So there was a two-part question stemming from a
woman?
two-part saying. The first part we already addressed, women marrying men hoping they will change. Second part, men marry women hoping they won't. And I was tying that back to our conversation.
Okay.
And then I didn't want to run off on Anna Lynn's example, so I gave examples of the sex drying up after marriage or the woman gaining weight after marriage. Men marry women hoping they won't change, but then they gain weight or stop having sex. Are
you essentially saying that, okay, so obviously the topic is women are with guys to eventually, hoping that later on as they get together, if your example was weed and everything, that they're going to stop doing drugs, right? Mm-hmm. And then you switched it to guys being with women that get pregnant, gain weight, and don't leave or do leave. Because essentially you're saying that women, leave
whether they leave is irrelevant. My question was, would you agree with the general trend that men marry women hoping they won't change and women marry men hoping they will?
Okay.
My question is
nothing to do with each of the examples I use. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Are we talking physically, emotionally, mentally? Like, what change are you really talking about?
That's a good question.
Well, I gave examples of different ways that they could change, but generally, I mean, even Anna Lynn, as different as we are in our views, she kind of agreed that young women tend to envision a future of their husband different than he is now. And you can go at that many different ways. Whereas with men, when they marry women, they're like under the illusion that she's going to stay the way she is forever,
I mean, because if you're just talking about like pregnancy, of course, if you just common sense to know if a woman get pregnant, her body gonna change. That's
some
common
a lot
sense.
More than others, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, like some women, like my cousin, she had 4 kids, and her body never got big when she was pregnant, but she always got back to her normal 130-40 pounds after every child. Then I know some women that had a baby, they was like 130 and got up to 200 and never came back down. So the body gonna change, and the body will either gonna go back to normal or it's gonna stay at the level it's at now.
Yep.
So
and the
that's just
question is,
common
did she
sense.
give up though? Like, did she give up, or was her husband encouraging
some
her
women that done had babies and went to the gym to try to lose it, they didn't lose it. They just turned to muscle, which made them look thicker.
Maybe. And again, we're boring into an example. I was just asking if you guys agree with the general trend. You guys hit the nail on the head the first time I asked, when I said, do women marry men hoping they'll change? You guys were like, all right, 6 out of 9. But then with the second one, we're getting into.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like where we taking the
I
conversation with this? Because I'm curious about where you're going. Where's the landing point? What was the
because it boiled into standards changing, and we keep getting off topic into one person or just pregnancy. But I think in general, there's a point to be made about standards changing, and a man tend to be like, if we are marrying women because we think they're not going to change, that means our standards more or less aren't changing. Your point can be added into that. Like, maybe you do secretly want more than one woman, but you don't level up to a level of comfort where you're okay with asking for it till later. I generally think men always want the same things.
I think standards in dating and standard in marriage are totally different. I had different standards when I was dating out in the world for somebody I just wanted to give a little bit of my time to than somebody I'm invested my future in. There was way vastly different standards and expectations and what have you. So I think
change dating for sex though. Sex and marriage. I'll agree with you 10 ways to Sunday that the standard for physical encounter is much different from, could this woman raise my children? Of course, yeah. Exactly. And that's different for women. Women get a date men that they see husband potential in every time, or at least they tend to be able to.
Okay.
I want to say something real quick on that. So I was talking to a friend. She came over today and we were talking about that. She is single, never been married, doesn't have kids. And she's older. Okay. So there's a guy that's interested in her. And she made this comment. Oh, well, he's the type of guy that, just can't stay single. And I go, why do you say that? And she said, because he's like, anytime he dates somebody, which isn't like, he's not dating back to back, but when he dates somebody, he's like, oh, like trying to put all in and, all this other stuff. And I go, well, I think that's the difference of the mentality, right? Dating is supposed to be for your future partner, for your life partner. Like that's the whole point of dating, right? If you're in this mindset of, oh, just having sex or hooking up or the flavor of the month or whatever, then that's something completely different, right? But I think it's so negative for a woman because he's not her type, right? So that's why she was saying this. And he's a good guy, hard worker, everything else like that. And I was like, this is the type of guy that you should be going for, that wants something serious with you, that is a serious person instead of what you're used to. Because look at all your years of experience, use them, and it's not working for your benefit unless this is your plan,
But even in that scenario, it's gonna be so hard for her to find some type of attraction to that guy because of what she's already been dealing with.
Well, but so she said it herself. She was like, well, I do like that I feel safe with him and secure, and like he's not an ugly guy, he's a very good looking guy. But because she's used to being treated a certain way, right? And also because some women have this bad mentality, like, oh, he has to be in a relationship type of thing, that's not a bad thing that somebody is trying to be serious when they're dating,
But he might be controlling too, though.
He's not, like, from whatever she was saying, it's just her perception of thing because of where she is, right? But
how old is she, Yadi, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I'm 41 and she's older than me, so
still finding it. She became a emotional junkie. That's the reality most women usually go through. They are addicted to the bad boys and to the people that treat them some type of way, get on that roller coaster of emotions and become emotional junkies. And when they get finally the man that has all the stability, respect, and all that, they can't stand the silence. They can stand the peace. They can stand nothing that is safe. So she played the game long enough, and now
I'm going to add to that. I have a study. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You haven't said something.
I was just interested with your friend. Was that her intention to like either wait, or was she waiting for the perfect relationship, or did she want to be like? Was it her intention to be not married by this age and not have children, or is that just how the cards fell?
It's because how the people that she keeps choosing, right? Like people that don't respect her, don't.
So really quickly, this surfaced recently that I've noticed, and like there's this little thing going around that I'd like to caution people. And there's this, I'm not even going to say specifically men or women. There's this little idea that women should try dating, like open dating. And I will say this, men and women are built differently. Women will fail at openly dating, in my opinion. And the reason why is because y'all are emotional creatures. You need an emotional connection with somebody. It is dangerous to teach that to people nowadays, because what's going to happen is, number one, if you are dating multiple people, you have to be open to your partners doing the same thing, or you will be labeled as a hypocrite. And that is what the truth is. With the second option is, what women will run into is that they will date 2-3 guys or however many. They will like 2-3 guys or however many. They will make the decision to pick one. And then, because whether it's the safest choice or they lower their standards for a dude or whatever, and later on down the road, that relationship will get ruined because they will think they have a chance with the person that they liked better. And so there's like this ties into a lot of our topics that we have on this show, is because like this is why relationships are so jacked nowadays. It's because I'm all for, like, for example, Anna Lynn, she's a feminist, and without getting into detail of where that ideology even came from, it's a whole nother topic. But with that said, is like it is facilitating mindsets that are both. I would argue that it is good because if you feel stuck in, like, you don't like the traditional roles and you want to break free and try something new, that's cool. Problem that I'm noticing is that, and men fall into this too, but for the sake of argument, women are starting to see, like, corporate world, all this stuff that wasn't necessarily traditional before, and they're starting to see that it is not what it's all cracked up to be. And so they are having to deal with the long-term effects of what that is happening. So I just want to say, like, tread lightly with the way that you perceive your relationships and your standards, because if you're a woman and you're like, I'm going to date 3 or 4 guys at the same time, well, just understand that you can either be open about that, which is probably encouraged, but then you're going to have to wake up each day having to deal with the emotional response of understanding that that dude that you like, or those 2 dudes that you like, are literally doing the exact same thing, or you're going to have to choose. And that's a huge choice for women to have to make. And so that's just kind of the difference. So, like, I just wanted to throw that out there because there's a lot of dangerous things going on in the dating world, and I don't think that people are really ready for that. But just wanted to get that out there. Be careful, tread lightly.
Thank you for sharing that, M Hoop. Let me just read some super chats real quick, and then I have another subtopic that's related to the main topic that we're discussing tonight. Something I saw that it went viral on social media. We definitely want to discuss it with this panel. But let me read some super chats real quick. T.O. in the live chat, thank you so much that she used her husband to level up and left him LOL. And also, he also said, and for a kid, LOL. All right. Thank you, T.O., for your super chat. Dark Leg Revive super chat. At the end of the day, Anna Lynn's husband's efforts supported her in her wife's lifestyle. A woman could never do that for 2 men. Men are awesome. All right, Dark Leg Revived. Appreciate the super chat. And then T.O. And then T.O. with the final super chat. Women with no money already have an inflated ego. Let them get some money. LOL.
Damn.
All right. No worries. All right. As always, appreciate you guys. Shout out to everybody.
Can I just respond?
Let me just I'll give you a chance to respond. Yeah, thank you so much for the super chats. As always, if you want your voice to be heard, drop a super chat and I'll be able to read it for everybody on the live stream, and appreciate everybody with your donation. But I'll pass it to you, Annalyn. You want to respond? Go ahead.
Yeah, to the comment about my poor ex-husband supporting my lavish lifestyle, was it? We supported each other. I stayed home so that he could further his career by working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then he started working less so that I could go back to school. It's called a partnership.
Wait.
Which is what
you
a marriage should be.
School after you school?
No,
you teach,
I went back to school when my daughter was 7. Then I went from being a stay-at-home mom to being a full-time student.
No. Wait. You are a teacher or a student?
I am a kindergarten teacher. I have a degree in early childhood education. And I went back to school when my daughter was 7. Then I went to university to get my degree. And now I work full-time.
Wait. He took care of you when you were taking care of the kid. Then he took care of you when you went to school. Then he took care of you when you had the degree.
But
where is your... Wait. What?
Can you... This is how our just the views of the thing differs. I don't seeing as him taking care of me. I'm seeing it as us taking care of each other. I took care of this part of our lives, and he took part of another part of our lives. Then I went back to school to further myself, to get an education in which I earn more than him.
But he supported you to having that education. That's the point. He put the pedestal on you so you can put your feet and you get what you wanted.
Honey, listen. I made money while I was in school, by the way. So he did not fully financially support me. This is This is what
But my
irks
thing
me a
is,
little
even
bit.
then, though, like
It was
even
a
then, it
partnership.
doesn't. It doesn't.
16
Yeah, it
hours
doesn't
per
matter.
day is not the man.
Patty,
A
but if
man
it-
working
Patty,
16 hours per day
But
is not
if that
supporting you.
works for them, that works for them. You don't have
Mana,
to
with all the
worry.
respect, Mana, let me ask you, Mana, if I was talking about my dad, not even my wife, husband, whatever you guys want to call it, right? If I told my dad, you working 16 hours per day and supporting all the bills is not supporting me and my mom,
She's the one that
I
said it.
would
You're not
be
giving her an
dishonored.
opportunity to say it, though. You don't even know that. You're assuming.
She said it. No, she said it.
Lord Jesus Christ. He worked 16 hours a day
You
to further.
are a lesbian. You can say God, Lord Jesus Christ. You can do that. We are atheists. Let's go.
Yes. And
it was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Oh, geez. He was working 16 hours a day. I moved to a different country so that he could work where he wanted to further his career. So I supported him in furthering his career by, moving where he needed me to be, raising our daughter, doing all the things. And then we, switched. He worked less so that I could go back to school, so that we as a family could, grow and have a bigger income. And then 13 years down the line is when I came out and left the marriage.
Oh, you left the marriage?
Yes, I left the marriage.
Sounds like an ungrateful person. Next.
No. Just to say it, my ex-husband.
He took care of you when you had the kids. He put you through school. He did everything for you. And as soon as you get the upper hand, bye.
He also never did a lot.
Let me get the girlfriend now. Sounds like an ungrateful. You actually, and again, I don't want to make this personal, but I have to. You are every man's nightmare. To be honest, marry somebody and they change so much that as soon as they're on the upper end, and now that I can leave. Bye. I like women now.
Do you not recognize that he has changed also? Because everybody changes.
Not him. No, he stayed with you. Didn't he stay with you?
We stayed with each other.
Okay, so why did you leave?
And then 23 years down the line, we have both changed.
Even more. You have 23 years of history together.
Yes.
You shouldn't be living
And the last 5 were very unhappy.
So
we decided
unhappy. Can you tell me why you left?
Because I was unhappy. I decided that I was old enough.
You wanted to be with a woman.
This is even Damien is looking like
No. I'm saying this.
Very good at interrupting.
You're
always and then you're interrupting.
It's always funny.
23 years
non-married people try to analyze the way marriage works.
Isn't it?
It's just funny to me.
Isn't it?
I'm married.
Thank you.
It's just funny.
Finally,
It's just
the
funny.
voice of reason.
Hey, Damien, you are not going to get away from this, Damien.
No,
Tomorrow
all I'm
is
saying
going to be a show about this.
All right,
Nope.
Hold on a second. And
Commenting on a topic when you've never been married. So
and I'm just gonna make this blanket statement for the chat, and then I'm gonna go back to the topic. Nobody who's ever been better than me has called me a simp. Ever. Nobody who's ever got a bigger house, better wife, more money has ever called me a simp. So whatever y'all rock with it the way y'all want to rock with it. But back to what we're saying is that it's like you phrase things in a real specific way, Fatty, and you do it. And it's like you say, he's like, he took care when you had the kids. My kids is our kids. So my wife, when she stayed home for those 10 years that she stayed home, she was protecting my legacy and managing my home so I didn't have to do it.
No, Damien, you guys are not going to do this because this is the thing. If it was a man coming in and saying the same thing, you will put his feet to the fire. If you take care of a woman, you are actually a guy. Like I didn't hear you cheating. I didn't hear you using. He literally said, "One second.
One second. You have the second after I finish my point. You can have that second. You can have that second. You can have that second.
Why I'm wrong?
No, because you interrupt me in the middle of my point. You can have that second after I finish my point. I know I'm wrong,
and this is why. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. I'm saying all I'm saying is just like I didn't view anytime my wife was staying home as I'm taking care of her. I'm taking care of my household as a man because I have a traditional view. If she didn't want to go back to work, she could have stayed home as long as she wanted. And I didn't think I was doing the things I was supposed to. I wouldn't have looked at her any kind of way. But the thing is, I viewed it as me. She's doing her role in supporting me, was making sure when I came home, I had peace, comfort, I was taking care. All my
Nobody
needs were taken
marries
care
for
of.
peace. Why you
Hold on
lying?
a second. My kids were managed and were taken care of very fucking well. They were really taken care of. So I knew that everything that I was working for was being taken care of. That's what I was working for. If I came home, hold on. If I came home and the house we bought, but what's called it was a shambles. My clothes were messy. They were what's called. It was just like, or she came home and she was in my face yelling at me of something I could give a shit about. Then that's different. But I knew that she was taking care of the things that meant the most to me. Men build legacies, women take care of legacies. That's the way it historically worked.
Big dog, please 1 second, because
They
he
can
is
also
trying
very
to do what
easily
he does
tear
to
down
others, right?
legacies.
Damien, I never said this woman was a bad mother.
But you
Remember what I
discounted
said?
that fact.
No. I never implied that this woman was a bad mother. What I said, and you are smirking because you know where I'm going. If a man sacrifices that much, 16-hour days, and finances your education and all that shit, you start to gain more money than the man. And then you turn around and you say, I'm not happy. And you click on the button and then marry a woman and go about your life. What the fuck are you talking about, Damien? You're going to justify this shit? Go ahead, justify it.
Okay.
Go ahead, explain that.
Now this is the active listening part. You got it? You ready? You ready?
I am, but
the active
please,
listening part.
If no, we are going to do Damien. If your wife tomorrow, you finance education of it.
I have a problem.
You got this, Annalene. I have nothing against you. I have something against what Damien is doing because he knows me and I know him pretty well.
Yeah, we know very well.
If you finance the education of your wife, she became a better earner than you. And she left you after all that sacrifice and said, I'm leaving, not because you abused me, not because you beat me up, not because you cheat on me, because I'm not happy. And she married another woman. What would be Damien's reaction?
You're inferring that she said,
okay,
hold on.
Since
I'm sorry to talk about you. I'm sorry to talk about you in the third person. Like it didn't. No, I'm sorry. Let me just get to his point.
I just need to say something. I have
Go
a
ahead.
real issue with you using the word sacrifice. Like my ex-husband sacrificed himself.
16 hours a day is not a sacrifice.
Can you please shut up a
You
little
are
bit?
actually right. I will shut the fuck up.
Thank you. He sacrificed himself working hard to further his own career. He now has a fucking awesome career. He has a great job. He has done very well for himself, which is what he wanted. So he sacrificed himself so that I could stay home. Well, I sacrificed 7 years of my life where I could have been getting an education. Instead, I moved across Scandinavia for him. So I sacrificed too. This is what I'm talking about. It was a partnership, which is what a marriage should be. However you choose to divide labors and incomes and earnings. It's supposed to be a mutual partnership, which it was for many, many years. And then we had irreconcilable differences, which made us both unhappy. So we chose to end the marriage. And I was the one who moved out. I moved out, yes.
Annalene, always sacrifice taking care of your kid for the first 7 years of my life. If I one day have a kid, I will want to spend every moment I can with that little motherfucker. Go to practice, we play PlayStation. How can you call taking care of your fucking kid for 7 years a sacrifice?
All you gotta do is take care of kids and play PlayStation.
I sacrificed my education. I could have gone back to school earlier, but I didn't.
Women don't like being moms anymore.
All right.
No, actually, I like being a mom so much. I do it for a living.
Doing something that I love.
No, that's not cool. That's a
listen.
There's this weird idea.
That was not cool.
I promise I'll be quiet forever. I promise I'll be quiet for the next 30 minutes. Trust me.
That's not cool. That's why I said
I'm sorry.
No, you don't talk about somebody's motherhood.
No, it's fine, but you have to trust me that I will be quiet after I say this.
That's not cool.
It's
that's
fine.
not cool, period.
I don't care what is cool or not cool above all.
No, you don't do that. You don't talk about somebody's
Can I
motherhood.
say something before
Like,
somebody
you don't do that. There's
okay,
no
so
reason.
I will take care of you,
reason
man. Listen
whatsoever.
Okay,
Absolutely not.
No, that's fine.
Absolutely not. You don't talk about somebody's
You already said that. You already said that it's not cool.
Bro.
We got you.
Like, that's fucked. You don't do that. You don't talk about nobody.
Okay, I know the sisterhood is playing up. Can you stop?
That's untouched. You don't do that.
Can you stop doing that?
Like, why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
That's not
cool.
Okay, man. So we gotta go keep it moving. Go back to the main topic.
I will. I promise I will be quiet. I promise you will. It's like 20 seconds. I'm listening to your own words. When I talk about the man sacrifice, you said, I don't like the way you guys use sacrifice. He didn't sacrifice nothing. And when you talk about yourself, you said, I sacrificed my education.
Yeah, well, if
to
he
take care of my
sacrificed
kids.
something,
Check,
then so did I.
motherfucking mate. You contradicted yourself again. You don't see a sacrifice what your husband did for you, but when you're talking about raising your kids, you call it, I sacrificed my education. So you contradicted yourself once again. I'll be quiet. I'll stay
Apparently,
here.
you have not turned on your listening ears, because what I said, if he was sacrificing, then so was I. It was mutual. It was a partnership. We worked together and decided on how to do things, and how we chose to do things changed over the years.
It changed. It changed.
How old
it
is
changed
this dude?
it changed when your child became 7 and you went and got a PhD and started making more money than your husband. And then after the last 5 years of the marriage, you decided to leave because you wasn't happy, which is an emotion, and happiness changed from time to time. So you really left off with emotion, not off of logic.
Yes, thank you for analyzing my marriage.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear it all the time, though. It ain't that hard. He was going to work 16 hours a day. You took care of the kids while he was at work. That's traditional gender roles.
I'm gonna ask, and I'm gonna actually, I don't want to assume. I'll just ask Anna Lynn. Was he the type of person that, if you had been working, would have still been working 16-hour a day because he's just the kind of guy that works a lot?
Yes.
So
who's gonna take care of the kids?
It's just one of those things where it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, you're making it seem like just like, oh my God, I have this kid. I have to work more than I normally would. I worked as hard as I did if we had 0 kids, I would have worked as hard as I did. We had 3 kids. I worked as hard as I did. It wasn't conditional about, okay, now I need to work harder. I'm only going to work the minimum, but since I have kids, I need to work more. I'm like, real men just get out and work. He has always been
a workaholic. My ex-husband has always been a workaholic, and he still is. He would have worked as much whether I had stayed home or not. But we chose that I should stay at home so that our kids were taken care of, our house was taken care of. He never mopped a damn floor in his life.
Traditional gender roles.
I got a question for you.
And I got sick of that. Because
why? You came on the panel.
Because I don't want to pick up after anybody. People are fucking.
But that's what you signed up for when you were 18.
Yes, and I am not the same person as I was when I was 18. Thank fucking God.
Well, that ties back to.
Okay, panel, we gotta wrap this up. We gotta wrap this up and keep it moving. We gotta appreciate everybody in the live chat. Thank you so much. And as always, to remind on the panel, at the end of the day, we are here just to express our opinions, our thoughts on this conversation. We don't have to take it personal. So, but yeah, just make sure we all understand that. So, but we'll keep it moving. I got some super chats to read. Tio on the live chat said, y'all don't see her story keeps changing. Thank you so much for that super chat. Shout out to you.
That was a 20-year story. It's hard to fit 20 years of story into like a sentence.
Okay, so, but yeah, as always, if you want your voice to be heard, you got something to say, you want me to read in front of everybody and respond, definitely drop it on the super chat. I'll definitely be able to read it. I appreciate you guys on the live chat as always. But we'll keep it moving. I have one last topic to discuss for this last hour of the pod, and appreciate the panel. Whether we agree or disagree, I appreciate you guys expressing your genuine ideas. But this is I have this video. Let me play this real quick, because one thing I do see on social media is we all understand today modern day dating is traditionally before, back in the day, where men and women had to get married, had to get committed before sex. Now today we're having sex before commitment, before marriage. All right, so there are a lot of women out there right now that they're saying that they're the topic of waiting, having to make the next man wait for sex, even though they're already having sex or they already have kids. So I guess the biggest complaint what I do see from that conversation is especially when a lot of women are getting older and their sexual market value is starting decreasing, they're still holding the same standard they want in the next man. And what a lot of men are saying is when you start to age and when your sexual market value starts to decrease as you get older, and I think Yadi brought up a point with one of her friends, she's 41 or 42, then you have to compromise your standards in the man, and you can't hold out on the things that men want. And we all men here, men want sex, women want relationships. That's usually the natural exchange of what relationships are traditionally. But there is this topic of discussion where a lot of women are holding out when it comes to sex and expect to be courted, expect to take it out on dates, expect the guy to pay for everything. And a lot of guys are saying is, you know what? If you expect me to court you, if you expect me to pay for your dates, expect me to take you on trips, and you're going to hold out on sex on me when I know your past, when I know you already have kids, that doesn't make sense. I have this video I want to play real quick. It's from Kevin Samuels, RIP to Kevin Samuels. He talked about this. It's kind of funny. I find it very funny as well, but it's a perfect explanation on what we're going to discuss right now. So let me just play this video real quick, and I'll come back to the panel and let me know what you guys think.
30, 50% off. Over 35 on clearance. 40 outlet. 50 Goodwill Salvation Army.
Okay. So
we heard the 35 plus.
Oh, okay. So this is something I do see online right now. There's a big conversation to have. If you understand this biological difference in the sexual market value for men, men, we get more attractive as we get older, and then women, you guys lose your sexual market value as you get older. But there are a lot of women out there because we do live in a generation today, modern women, they are pursuing a career, they're foregoing a relationship and having children in their 20s, and they're not getting married. But a lot of these women are hitting their 30s, quote unquote, hitting the wall at 30, 35, 40, but they still want the same standard of men they wanted in their 20s. And of course, they still explore sexually in their 20s, and they were having their fun, they were going on their trips. But then when they're ready to settle down in their 30s to 35, 40, not only they still want the same level of man, but the next man they're coming is like, they have to wait. Like, you have to wait for sex. So I want to have that discussion. What do you guys think about that? As far as, because it relates to the topic at hand, because a lot of guys are saying is, I'm not going to wait for sex, especially if it's a woman that has passed her sexual prime, especially if I've seen you, especially if you already have a kid, and especially if you already explored in your 20s. I'm not going to court you and date you and spend my money on a woman, and I'm not getting anything back. And I'm not, especially when it comes to what we want as men, is we want sex. All right, so
breathe.
I am.
So
Market
yes,
value?
I just wanted to paint.
We are not cows.
Wait, let me just finish. I'll definitely come back. I'll come to you guys. But like I said, this is the conversation I do see online. There's a lot of videos online about that. That there are a lot of women out there have inflated their, as far as what they think that they can attract in the real market world, as far as what they can get in the sexual marketplace. So I just want to open up the conversation. I want to hear what you guys think about that, especially when it comes to wait for men, especially as the women who are a little bit older, 30, 35, 40, and they're trying to settle down, and for the next man that's going to come into her life, not only she wants to hold that man to a higher standard, but they're telling these men, you have to wait. You have to wait. I mean, a lot of these guys are like, well, if you want me to pay for your date, to take you out, pay for all these things, I'm not going to wait because I saw what happened to you in your past. But let me start with the ladies. I know this is going to be an interesting conversation now, because this is something I see online. But I want to pass it to you, panel, and we're going to finish this for this last hour. I'll start with the ladies. I'll start with you, Christine. Christine, what's your thoughts about the topic regarding especially when it comes to sex and the exchange between men and women? And should modern women today still keep that same standard that they had when they were younger, and still make the men the next man in her life have to wait for things that she gave up in her past, when a lot of these guys didn't really have to court her or pay for anything to take her out? What do you think about that, Christine?
Okay, so again, I think it comes down to each person's values. So like you said, like waiting for the sex. So, your religion and your beliefs, that plays a big role. So it's going to depend person to person. I personally know a lot of people currently that are in their like late 30s, early 40s that are still single and never had like had a long-term relationship. And part of it maybe it can be because they stuck to their standards all along and they didn't, give a person a chance because they're like, okay, I'm really going to be disciplined on my standards. So there's that. But I also saw a comment earlier, if I remember, what was it? It was on the standards. You said it too right now, but I don't remember. It was like a while ago. What was it? Let me come back to you when I remember, because they were asking like, oh, okay, I remembered. So they're like, okay, like if you change your standards for a guy, so it's like, oh, a guy already had this, like had you or had access to you and had sex with you. Why are you like, messing up the nice guy or whatever and not giving it to them because you change your standards? Again, we live and we learn. So our standards can change at any time. So I don't know about the value either. Like there shouldn't be like a price tag on a person, let's say, like a value. It's like we're all humans and we're all going through this life together, and everyone has their journey. So it's like our standards are going to change, so it's not going to stay the same. And we may have made a mistake of, let's say, like giving the bad boy a chance, but we might have learned from it and start to be strict on it. That's also going to affect us in the dating, because we may not find anyone because we're like, we want this now and I'm going to stick with it. So that's my take on that.
All right, no worries. Thank you for sharing that, Christine. Appreciate it. We'll keep it moving. Yadi, what do you think? There's a lot of women out there a little bit older, 30, 35, 40, especially in today's modern dating culture. They still have the same standards they thought that they had in their 20s, and they still expect the same man to come in their life, and they're going to withhold sex with these men because they have higher standards now. So do you think that's realistic? Do you think that they have to compromise and be honest with their sexual market value and what they get?
Will, can I define it quick? I have the definition pulled up. Can I define it? Because I see it. There's usually strife between like, value as a person. Can I just read it in 10 seconds?
Yeah, go ahead, Deb.
According to Google, SMV, or sexual market value, is an individual's level of attractiveness to the opposite sex, which ultimately influences the quality of mate they can in turn attract. Okay.
Yeah, it's men and women. It's men.
Yeah. So when I say sexual market value, fellas and ladies, I'm not talking about your personal value as a human being. Everybody as a human being needs to be deserved and respected. I'm just talking about your value in the sexual marketplace. What makes you attractive to the other person to select you, especially if we're talking about commitment in marriage. So I'll pass it back to you, Yadi. What are your thoughts on that, Yadi?
Okay, I think I've touched on this before, and this is not the popular women's opinion, but from what I see, a lot of older women are typically more jaded, and then so that's where their standards come in, right? And a lot of them are very unrealistic for where they are in their life. You may not look how you looked when you were in your 20s and pulling doctors and lawyers and all these like high value men, right? And it's not even about a body count, because I know a lot of women that aren't very sexually active, because they are either too busy working or they were too focused on school or whatever it is, so it's not about the body count. I think if a woman is not high value and she does have a high body count and very easily shows it, and the way she acts, the way she presents herself, the way she doesn't demand that respect from whoever it is she's dating, from the people around her, then I don't see how she can be realistic in certain expectations that she may have holding out for like a high value man, So I don't know. I don't remember what your question was, but I think a lot of women towards the later stages of their life, they need to be a little bit more realistic, but also men too, in the aspect that, so just because I have kids already, you don't know how long I was married or whatever it is, right? Like just because I have kids doesn't mean I'm like a slut or easy, right? And that's most men's assumption. Okay. So again, it's all on how the woman presents herself, how she acts, on what standards she would be, you know, demanding. Me, for one, not saying to go sleep with somebody like just right off the bat, but I think if sex is important to you in a long-term committed relationship, then you're not going to want to hold out too long, because what if you're not compatible there, you know? So I don't know. It's like give and take.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Yadi. I'll go to Mena, and then I'll come to you, Annalyn. Mena, what are your thoughts about the conversation about women that there's a little bit older, their sexual market value is not as high, and they have children, and then they still want the same standard of men that they wanted to have when they were in their prime, in their 20s, and they're trying to put more hurdles for these guys who have access to sex. What are your thoughts about that, Mena?
You said doesn't have children or does have children?
No, they do. Like some of them, a lot of majority of women, they do have children, and they're still single in their 30s, 40s.
I think it just depends on the woman itself. Like, I think it goes back to how they carry themselves, what they have going on for themselves. I guess it just goes to like, don't ask for something you're not giving back. So it just depends on the person. It depends on the female. And yeah, like I would assume, but obviously common sense is not very common nowadays, that if you're not, you can't request something that you're not giving off of, regardless of the body count, regardless of whatever. Like, let's say you're 30, 40, and you're really emotionally immature. Like, you can't expect a man that is emotionally mature. You can't expect for things that you are still working on yourself. So I think just, you know, whatever you're asking for, make sure that you're also able to provide it. And that's my take on it.
Okay. All right. No worries, Mena. Thank you for sharing. And then I'll pass it to you, Annalyn. Annalyn, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, I have an issue with the whole market value comment, because we are not cows. We are humans. And I get that it's sexual market value, but if you take a lady out and you take her on trips and on dates, and you expect sex, then you should go to a prostitute. Is my take on that, because nobody owes you sex ever. That is the problem that I have. I am so glad I don't have to go on dating apps and do the dating culture thing, because it sucks. It seems. It seems that the expectations are that if you are a little bit older or if you have kids, then you're worth less, and that you should lower your standards. Why? Why should I lower my standards just because I've reached 40 and I have popped out 3 kids? I deserve the same in a partner as I did when I was 20. And nobody can lay any claim on any part of my body if they take me out to dinner or take me on a trip. So if you expect sex when you pay for something, you should you make it easy for yourself and pay for sex. Is my take.
Okay. All right. No worries, Annalyn. Thank you for sharing. Let me just read this last super chat, and then I'll pass it to the fellas, and then you guys can share your piece. 187 super chat on the live chat said, "Big ups to all the single baby mamas in the house, sitting the bricks. Is that a brick?
Eating the brick.
Hitting the wall.
I guess
Hitting the wall.
Yeah.
Hitting the brick out here, buying dogs and dying alone. Salute to you. All right, no worries. Thank you so much, 187. As always, appreciate your super chats. If you want your voice to be heard, you got something to say for me to read, for everybody to hear, drop a super chat. I appreciate the donations, but we'll keep it moving. Let me pass it to the fellas. I'll let the fellas go one by one, and then I'll bring it back to the panel, and we get to respond to each other, because I know a lot of the things are going to be said, especially specifically on this topic. We're gonna disagree a lot, especially from the fellas. I saw your face.
Make Fatty go last, because he's gonna say some shit that gets everybody just riled up.
Okay, so let me
This
start
is
with.
this is Fatty's favorite move. He said, David, I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you talk. And then he says,
One second.
Maina, we're married and blah blah blah. And then just everyone goes nuts. And
Okay. So let me pass it. Let me pass it to you. I'll start with you, Big Dog. Big Dog, I'll let you open up for the fellas. What's your take on this piece? You know, a lot of modern women today are the sexual market value as they get older, but they still expect the same standard of men when they had it in the 20s as far as their options, and they're putting more hurdles for these guys to get access to them, especially when it comes to sex. What do you think, Big Dog?
Man, I'm be honest with you, Will. I see this every day with my mother-in-law. She been doing this since she was 38. She got 7 kids by 6 different men. And
see, you had to look for his wife, huh? Like she there?
And yeah, so since 2004, since she was about 38 years old, she's been doing this. She got this high standard for any man she meet, and then once this man don't meet her standard, she dump him. She want a man to go to work all day, give her his whole check, and take her out and do all spin. And the minute he don't do it, she mad. She want to break up with him. She want to leave him alone. So here she is at 57, and she's always complaining about there's no good men out there. And when I do meet somebody, all they want to do is fuck. They don't want to never take me nowhere. They don't want to never do nothing. I look and I'm like, you ain't young no more. You ain't in your 20s no more. You ain't in your 30s no more. You're going to have to do more than just cook a man a plate of neck bones and collard greens and expect him to take care of you and spend money on you, or give, he wants some ass, so give him some ass. So yeah, it's like once you get to 45, 50, dude's not looking at you no more until you give him some ass. And if you ain't giving up that ass, they ain't taking you nowhere. They ain't spending no money. And that's just the reality you got to deal with.
Okay. All right. No worries. Thank you for sharing that, Big Dog. And I appreciate everybody in the live chat for this last hour. Let's get that live chat popping. Appreciate you guys as always, but we'll keep it moving. I'll pass it to you, Damien. Damien, what are your thoughts on?
Damien, you should have gone before the guys. we know what you're gonna say.
I'll go.
What am I going to say?
Go on, say it.
No. Basically, I feel like this. Some of the stuff Kevin Samuel said was spot on. I often said that on many a panel. It was like, because I feel what happens is a lot of women do still have an overinflated sense of self to where they feel like, I'm still going to get that NBA player. I'm still hot enough, to get the NBA player. I have physically what that person would want without looking their mother. There's other attributes that person might want, which is, and a lot of times it is youth and things like that. So I think if you are level set into where you feel like, where you realistically could get yourself into a long-term happy relationship, it may not be what you thought you could get at 20. You may not be, your happiness may come in a different package than you thought when you were 25, when you're 35, 45. I think a lot of times there's that push against kind of coming to that realization. So the whole thing about like not giving up sex to one person when you give it up in the past, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like you fucking want to fuck. If you decide, if you've been giving it up left and right or whatever, and it wasn't working for you, and you ended up heartbroken and with a sore vagina, and you decide, I'm done with that shit. I'm done with that shit. The next person who get it is going to be the man who I marry, and I'm going to have built something, because it's just not worth the agony of the headache of doing it any other way. People can change what they want to do, And as far as this whole thing about, okay, and if you out there and you got a problem, it's like, oh my God, this woman had 30 dudes before me and I'm not getting it. Don't date that woman. I don't understand. Ain't nobody saying this is the one woman you have to date. They be like, there's other women out there, but I want you, but I'm gonna sit there and judge you because I want you. And you need to be right for me, but you're not. So I'm gonna judge you. I'm like, leave her alone. There's a dude who ain't gonna give a shit about that. That's gonna take her out. Let that dude have her. You guys are so pressed for women that it's just like, oh my God, this is the shit. Oh my God, and she, She has to be all this, but she's not all this. What am I gonna do? That's the only woman that's ever gonna like me. I'm like, dude, step your game up and go where you get what you want. Find somebody that has congruent values and rock out right there. Why are you trying to judge women who you don't want in the first place? Get with the women you want. Every woman ain't like that. I know people like to say all women are like that. Every woman ain't like that. There's women out there who ain't just out there slinging it left and right. So get with, but you don't want them because you want this air of superiority up that you're really trying to maintain. You know, so it's just like get with the women you want. Find somebody congruent values, and you ain't got no problem. These dudes got all these problems with all these women. I'm like, then rock with somebody who you living at. Don't try to be like, oh, this is my world. I need to bring you into it, and you need to fit into what I got going on. No, find somebody who's already in that world. And women, my advice to you is, if you are really trying to make that transition and change it, and you got a past that you may be scrutinized over, get the fuck out of that situation. It's always funny. I always say, if you got 20 bodies in Miami, move to fucking LA. And then you got zero. If you're not doing the same behaviors, not hanging in the same crowd, dressing the same, acting the same different mentality. Because I'm from the Bay too. I was born in San Francisco, raised in Oakland. So I know there's a certain kind of culture out there. I won't put it out there, but there's a certain culture that rhymes with Kemps and Ho and Pose out there that's very heavy. And I've seen many chicks who was rocking in that world that are soccer moms in Arizona right now with 3 kids. You would never know anything about their past because they didn't stay in the environment where they were getting judged. So go somewhere where you can start friends. You really about starting brand new? Go somewhere where you're gonna start brand new.
Damien, are you promoting scammers?
Oh wait, whatever. What's
What
called it?
the hell is happening to you, Damien?
What's called it? And I'm saying basically, and dudes, don't rock with women that you're gonna feel the need to judge. Just don't. Save yourself the headache. Save yourself the headache. There's a lot of good women. Go to church. Go find somebody else. Go someplace else where historically those women will congregate. If you go to the club and be like, oh my God, this girl I saw twerking at the bar, on top of the bar, she got 20 bodies. How dare she? I mean, it's like, go someplace where those women don't congregate. Put yourself in a better situation. Elevate your shit. Step your game up, player, and you ain't gotta complain so much. Step your game up.
Okay, we'll
you know what? Y'all lucky I got an amazing wife who's just the best person I ever met. Because if she ever fucked around and got crazy and left me, I'd shit on all you niggas.
Okay, all right.
You guys wouldn't stand a chance. I'm sorry, because y'all some sorry ass dudes.
You would marry the woman with 73 bodies and says, "You're my queen."
But I wouldn't ask her if she had 73 bodies. If she wasn't kicking it with, if the dude, if like I said, if the environment she was in didn't indicate that it was all in my face all the time. If we in Miami in the clubs, I meet her and she's in Miami in the clubs, and every time I walk into one of the spots, I'm seeing the dude that she done smashed. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. But if she moved, I'm in LA, she moved to LA, and then why would I be like, oh, how many bodies have you had? If she's not displaying those behaviors that go along with that kind of mentality, why would I give a fuck?
Got you, Damien. Got you.
So
appreciate it, Damien.
Step your game up, players. You won't be so sorry.
We'll keep it moving. And just one quick super chat real quick. T.O. in the live chat said, I'll get with the women I want and still judge the ones I want to judge when they're out of line. Stop acting like you don't judge, Damien. Okay, so T.O., thank you so much for the super chat. As always, and if you want your voice to be heard, drop a super chat. I'll definitely read it for everybody to hear. And I appreciate you guys, your donations, but we'll keep it moving. M. Hoop, what do you think? What are your thoughts about the topic we're discussing right now? Go ahead, M. Hoop.
So a couple things. First of all, Annalyn, I agree with you. Women are not cattle and men are not banks. So it's fascinating that we live in a society that facilitates women and encourages them to demand that men just pay for all these dates and do this stuff. And then men shouldn't expect anything in return. Look, if you don't understand the difference between men and women, just say that, because the truth is, like, I feel bad for your ex-husband because you came on this panel saying that you believe that people should stick to their standard and their values. And I feel that like you were married to a dude for 20 plus years and then you ended up marrying a woman. And if that's not a change in standard or values, then I don't really know what that is. So with that said, go ahead.
I am staying true to me and myself, and I never set standard.
But you weren't true when you were married to somebody you didn't want to be married to.
Can I finish my sentence?
20 plus years.
Can I finish my sentence? I never said standards can't change. My standards have changed. For me, the standards I have set for myself, for my own happiness, have changed. And the only person's happiness I am in control of and responsible for is my own. And
no, I completely understand. I just think that it's kind of contradictory that, like I said, I agree with you. Like, we shouldn't be treating women like cattle. But in the same thing as like I said, men are not banks. And like the problem is like both men and both and that's fine. But both men and women struggle with this, but I think more women struggle with like accountability, and like our society is facilitating that. And the reason why I say that is because like how are women going to sit there and be like, look, okay, here's the comparison I've made on this panel many times. Financial stability to women is what physicalness is to men. Like, how are you going to expect men to help you out and pay for dates or like pay for bills and all? Because a lot of this stuff is expected from men, but we are physical creatures by nature. Men are, but then you're going to withhold with the question is being like an older woman who may or may not have kids and then withhold what is important to men, which is a physical aspect of a relationship, which is also a very important aspect of a relationship, is physical attraction and compatibility or chemistry, which somebody said that earlier. So I'm just making a comparison when I'm saying that is because like I do strongly believe that like there are certain societal norms that men are held to a standard and women can be like Wayfair fans. They can go with the wind. And like, as far as I'm concerned, I'll say this, and I've said this before, marriage and kids are not on my radar. I have neither. But it has never been easier for me to date whoever the fuck I want now, because simps make the world go round and they make it easier for me to be able to date whoever I want. But if there's a 35-year-old woman that is going to go to me and is interested in me and then be like, hey, like, I'll take you out on a date. I'm not saying I expect sex, but I'm not going to waste my time and money over an extended period of time when she knows deep down in her heart that men like to have sex. I believe women do too. I think that we're both sides are very physical creatures, but like that is kind of what like the basis is really important to men. So that's why I say is like we expect men to throw this money out and court women, right? By courting women and almost impressing them or showing them our best sides, it involves spending money. And by if women want to jump in the dating game or be involved in that, it's going to involve you having to give up a little bit of ass every once in a while. So if you're going to be 35 years old, and want to withhold what men are physically kind of inept to, then that's like, I'm sorry, but you're only going to get so far. And I know that that's not the standard. I know that that's not all women like that, but it is becoming more of that. This whole, I found my virginity or celibacy and all that stuff. Okay, well, that's why you're going to end up like not happy and stuff, ladies. And that's the truth. And it goes the same for men. I hear dudes that are like, oh, I want to do this 50-50 thing and all this stuff. And like, I deserve a traditional style woman, but this dude can't even change a tire. So how are you gonna sit there and demand all this stuff? And both sides do it. And it causes a lot of confusion. And like, it's fascinating for me to watch because it kind of makes things easier for a dude in my position. But like, at the same time, I think it's kind of silly, like some of the standards that are held. And I know that it could go both ways. I will agree with that. Sometimes men get the easy way out. Sometimes women do. But that's just what I wanted to say is like I said, man, my biggest thing was, dude, yeah, women aren't cattle, but man, everybody expects a man to just throw his money towards these women. And like, and throw in everything that they worked for, and then they get married. And I'm not saying that your marriage went like this, but a lot of men lose in divorce court, and like all these things, they get jacked, and it's just like it's fascinating. It's crazy to me what we argue over, because kind of what Damien said is like, look, women are becoming more masculine and men are becoming more feminine, and y'all motherfuckers are weak, dude. You guys bring a lot of this stuff on yourself. It has never been. People complain about the dating pool. If you know what you're doing and you got a little bit of confidence and a little bit of social skill, the dating pool has never been easier if you really think about it. Yeah, there's a different dynamic to it. But if you know what you're doing, or you know how to speak with people, you're aware that women will lower their standards if they're truly attracted to you, like what the main topic is. The women even agreed on this. I know that some of us don't like generalizations, but generally speaking, some of these things are the truth. So if you're struggling in dating, you need to go like ask for advice instead of hating on the opposite side. You need to either listen to people and learn from experience, or stop bitching about everything.
Okay. All right, M Hoop, as always, appreciate it. Thank you for your take. I just go a quick super chat real quick. Shadow Dragon TV, $5 said, "Big dog story took me out. I'm still laughing. 7 kids with 6 baby mamas, and expecting the world is wild. Salute to Will and the panel." Shout out to you, Shadow Dragon. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys as always. If you want your voice to be heard, drop it through a super chat. I'll be able to read it for everybody to hear. We'll keep it moving, Devil, and then I'll come to you, Fatty, and then we can open up for open discussion or respond to each other. All right, Devil, go ahead.
Yo. So I think I'll start with getting everyone involved. I just want all the guys to say one thing that men look for when it comes to long-term potential for SMB.
Booty.
Long-term potential. This way,
Booty.
even though we have differing opinions, we'll get Will's opinion, we'll get Damien's opinion. So Will, you go first. What's one thing that is essential for a woman to have long-term potential or high SMV?
Booty.
Say that again. Sorry.
What's one thing that women should have that ties into their SMV, like having long-term potential?
Having children, fertility, I think.
Fertility? Okay, so
yeah.
Signs of fertility. Damien.
Have kids.
Sorry, I think you're muted. Y'all can speak as you think.
A willingness to learn.
Willingness to learn, coachability. Love it. Okay. Big dog.
Character and big titties.
Say that again.
Character and big titties.
Can I have his answer? Can I take his answer? No, I'm just joking.
All right, that ties into booty, Fatty. So you're gonna have to think of something else. I'm sorry.
Yeah, booty and loyalty. If you have booty and you're loyal, I can work with the rest.
Loyalty. Ooh, that was mine. So now I gotta think of one. I'm gonna go with integrity. And that's separate from loyalty, because it's what she does when no one's watching her and when no guys are trying to take her from you. It's what she does, when she's just on her own. So we have things that tie into fertility, integrity, loyalty, physical attractiveness, and then Damien, coachability. That's great. So and I wish someone would type these down, but out of all of those, are there any of them, and this ties back into SMV, are there any of those that get substantially better for women as a trend over time?
Yes, loyalty. It's difficult to keep as long as the time goes. So if you're loyal for a extended period of time, you deserve a medal, because most of these people are.
I mean, with age, not years in the relationship. We're not comparing a woman 1 year in a relationship versus a woman 10, but like actual age. I think it's arguable that loyalty can be. It could be argued that loyalty gets better with time. Any others?
Yes.
Damien,
a woman that knows you, knows everything about you in and out, and doesn't abuse the privileged information that she has, is a diamond that you need to keep. A woman that knows every your flaws for 1 decade, and she knows where she can target you and strike you, but she doesn't. is a very, very, very special woman.
Damien, would you say that coachability improves or stays the same, or in general, are women less coachable as they age?
Yeah, it changes. I'm gonna have to agree that I think women can be less coachable when you're in the age, but I didn't mean it like coachable or whatever. I mean,
Oh, sorry,
like
I changed your words.
Yeah, one of the things that like my wife said to me that I knew that she was gonna be my wife is like saying one of the things she said she valued me and she may let me know at every turn that she did, and she said I'm gonna make it my duty to learn what you like and what makes you happy and secure and do those things on a consistent basis. That's one of the things she said to me. I was like, dang, you really trying to get this last name? And she did. And that's what I'm saying. She took the time to learn me and like the things that I like and the things that make me feel secure and a man and recognized. That's what I mean is like you
So I would say that it's in general, it's harder to inspire change in a woman as she ages. And it seems like you found a woman who is so devoted to you that she's making it her priority. Which
she was younger too. Remember, we 15 years into this thing.
Okay,
I've known each other steps. So yeah.
But
so she was
looks like she's held
20
true
years
to
younger. So
yeah, and it looks like she's held true to that commitment. So
yeah. We ain't going
my
nowhere.
first note was a response to Annalyn. Like, she's a huge problem with the notion of sexual market value. Kind of a problem with the core concept. Like, why should I deserve less at 40 with 3 kids versus 20? And a lot of it, unfortunately, even though you're right, women aren't cows, is just simply math. Like the things that men want from women are less able to give men as they age. And so if you combine that, so now by what we just established, a woman's SMV tends to decrease over time. Now you might get a J-Lo who still has higher SMV than most 30-year-olds at age 46, but in general, she's not going to beat a J-Lo at 30. So SMV decreases over time, but what about women's standards? So women, you can speak on this. What would you say? Would you say that women are more picky as time goes on, or like less picky in terms of the men that they rule out relative to their SMV?
Ladies,
any comments?
Well, real quick, I think J-Lo is trash, personally. She is not a woman that I look up to in any way. She does look good for her age, but she has the money and whatever else. But she is trash, okay?
I was trying to get ahead of, there's always someone who says
in any way to that girl.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Did I miss something? J-Lo got brought up. I'm sorry, was I not paying attention?
Oh, because every time I say that, or I've brought that up in past conversations, either Beyonce or J-Lo gets brought up. So I was trying to say, yes, there are outliers, but in general, SMV lowers over time. But
yeah, and she's a perfect example of that, right? Like, how many times was she engaged? And how many times did they not want her? So.
That's a good point. And she was like one of the, most attractive women in the world, or at least talked about, sought after, or whatever, in regards to her beauty. I read an article that even, who is Halle Berry, I remember the first time I saw her, it was like Catwoman or some movie she was in. I was like, God, if my wife could just be half, I just remember being in awe of her beauty. And now she's writing articles crying about child support. She is not happy in any aspect, of her public life, at least. Granted, she is a celebrity. So I think, unfortunately, it's a hard pill to swallow as a man, knowing that you're not born with really anything that your future wife is going to want from you, and you might not ever get those things. Some guys are born 5'3" with an IQ of 80. Half of men have an IQ under 100. And one of the top things women look for in men is their ability to provide a financial stability and foundation for a family, right? And not all men are born with the ability to give that. Even women who don't have that attractive of a face, if they're feminine and they can say they do a few sports in high school and stay in shape, they already could probably get 75% of men. I would argue, unless they have something really wrong with them. So I think that one sex is having a lot more trouble swallowing the pill of what adds to their SMV. A woman's light, it burns brighter than any man's light at any point in his life. You know, a young, beautiful woman who has all the signs of fertility, that's coachable, that's in shape, and that's loyal and can act with class and integrity, which ties into promiscuity. She has her pick of the litter. And I'm talking billionaires, millionaires, celebrities, pro athletes, humble countrymen. Like, men, you need to earn almost everything that you need to provide the foundation for a stable family in the future. And as soon as you realize that, you need to get your ass to work, and hopefully you have it by the time it's too late. And so from this conversation, I've just seen a sad disconnect. I think it might be because of all the rejection men get early on versus women start to get the rejection later on, like when they're in their 30s, 40s, when they realize that the men that they thought that they could get someday aren't even wanting them, let alone the men that they dream of. It's really hard. It creates this friction between the genders. And my last response was to Damien. I thought he strawmanned most men's argument by saying that we say that all women are like that and need to improve and have these modern problems that I'm speaking of. A quote that reminded me of is, all it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. So, for example, indiscriminate sexual behavior that's become part of our culture, a hookup culture, and completely disregarding the degradation of the culture that our children are going to grow up in is, at best, selfish and short-sighted. Because yes, you're an attractive dude, you're a smart enough dude to get the woman you want, but if we just sit back and say we won, I could do it better than you, and move to the suburbs, then your children are going to grow up in schools that are teaching, the degeneracy that, I'm not even going to name names so that we don't argue over an individual topic, but you see what's going on in the schools, because, the men that are winning, they're just quietly retiring into their little happy pocket. But then we start to see what's happening to the culture when we let, the insane people run the asylum. So I do think, yes, you are, more or less a winner. Women might consider you a pick of the litter, but our culture is losing, and we're seeing all the symptoms of it in the West. So I think that guys like Kevin Samuels, I'm just happy that guys like the lead attorney and Kevin Samuels don't just retire into their little pocket of happiness, and they're actually trying to inspire change in other men, even though some of the things they say might be incendiary and hurt feelings. Like, I think that that's what needs to be done.
Okay.
So that was my last response to what you guys said.
All right. Thanks for sharing that, Devil. And I'll pass it to you, Fatty. Fatty, you can take it away, and then we can respond to each other. But as always, go ahead, Fatty.
I forgot the question. No, I know what I'm going to say. I just forgot the thing.
No, we're just discussing, Fatty, that a lot of women today.
Oh, I remember the cow thing. Women are actually cows, and men are horses. There's how women look at men. Where can I find the horse? Then I can put my cart on so he can carry me to the promised land where I want to go. There's how women look at men. That's exactly what they do. And we look at women like cows. Can I get milk from her? Right? And the question is, Damien is becoming an enemy of men. Damien said, you shouldn't expect sex from a woman. I agree. Damien, on the first date, should men pay the first date?
Yes.
You see what I'm talking about? He's an enemy of men. He will put all the onus of the man to perform, and woman will be entitled to that money and to that wallet and to that date and to that trip, while the woman has to do nothing for it. Either she's worthy or not, is nothing. I will repeat again, this is why women are cows. A man will not buy a cow if he can get the milk for free. I'll repeat myself again. A man will not buy a cow if he can get the milk for free. Annalene, and this is a rhetorical question. How would you feel if everybody could ride on the town bicycle, there was a bicycle that was always on the street, and Moop can get it, Mana can walk around, Yandy's doing, man, everybody's is riding on that bike. But when Emily comes there and grabs the bike, no, you have to pay $10 to ride that bike. You are going to feel offended. You are going to say, what? Big Dog Barkin was doing wheelings on that bike. I saw him and he didn't pay for nothing. And he crashed that bike against the building and he put it together again. Why do I have to pay when 17 women and men ride that bike for free? That's how men feel. It's a scam. If everybody could ride that bike for free, and now I have to come with my premium with a nice house and a nice car, and I have to be responsible, and I have to be a good father to ride the bike, it's a scam. You gave yourself for free for 50 men and 30 women, and now you're asking me for the premium that you didn't ask for nobody before me. So it's just a question about, are you being honest and fair? I would not expect a woman to give me I'm not expecting a woman to ask something from me that she didn't ask for the 70 motherfuckers that put him on for. And like, I'm not expecting that. If she didn't ask for nothing from those men, I don't have to come around with all the things that she didn't get from those men. So the reality is, again, Damien is becoming Sharon 2.0. He's expecting men to get all the owners of Gilton in the man needs to pursue and a man needs to be a man while the woman has to do nothing. So I will again say, Damien, and this is personal for you because I know you. All these men that was married for 20 years and something, they were winners until they become losers. The Green Power Ranger was a winner for 20 years until his wife separated from him. He put a bullet on his head. So what I'm telling again, we men need to do fucking better, and we women need to do better too. Both of us need to do better. When you ask the men to be the best version of themselves just to get separated and left by the year 15 because the woman is not happy, you are putting a noose on a man's head because, again, a lot of men don't recover from that. And you have all the sympathy when these men go around and leave this woman because they are not happy and they're pursuing a big ass and some big titties. But when the woman do exactly the opposite, exactly the same, you for some reason find some sympathy and it's evolution. It is what it is. Happiness is not a part of a marriage. I don't want you to be miserable, but I want you to do your duty and to be grateful and thankful. If you are going to ask for a man to give you the world while you are not willing to give nothing, you shouldn't be married. You shouldn't be having kids because this is not about you. This is about the people that you are raising. Your kids need to be happy. Your kids need to be happy. That man working 16 hours is
Maddie,
not happy.
I want to say something real quick. I'm sorry.
Carmen.
And I have never interrupted you. Okay.
No, that's totally fine. I'm the interrupter. It's fine.
But I think it's very harsh on all of you guys that just keep attacking her, because I think the problem that y'all are having wrapping around y'all's head is because she left her husband and got with a woman. Not that she left him for a woman. Okay.
The marriage ended because the marriage wasn't right for us.
No, I know. That's
not my
what
problem.
I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I think they're just struggling with the part that it's with the woman. I don't think you would have gotten so much grief if it would have been with another man.
That's the gay agenda.
Now, before you guys
we are coming for all your wives.
No, please, guys, before you guys go, I am a lefty. I watch the Young Turks. I watch the secular talk. I live in Europe, just like Annalene. I live in Portugal. I am a lefty. If you fuck woman, fine. If you got like trains run on you, fine. Do whatever you want to do. If you like drugs, go ahead. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with ungrateful people. Let me give you an example. If Ellen come on this conversation and said, I had a man, he had nothing, I stood by him, he became Jeff Bezos of Amazon, he cheated on me with a big booty bitch, he left me to marry her, I would say, Annalene, I'm sorry, that man is a piece of fucking shit. And we will be done with it. There's no, oh my God, but he was not happy. No, I would side by her and I would tell that man is not doing their duty. So when shit happens on the reverse, and we have Damien, which is somebody that I actually appreciate, but he's doing this like, oh, people evolve and all that shit. It disgusts me because you are not doing and not saying what is right. You are saying what is good for this woman art. This woman has to understand that this is not about their happiness. You brought
my name up a couple times.
No. Let me finish.
Okay,
I'll let you respond.
My bad.
When a man and a woman have a kid, several kids, it's not about their happiness. Nobody enjoys watching 16 hours. Nobody enjoys working for 16 hours. I would like to be at home watching Housewives of Atlanta. I would enjoy that shit too. I can do it because I have to work. So if a man is doing his duty and he's sacrificing for you, I'm expecting the woman to say, this is not about me. This is about my happiness. In 5 years, when I get whatever I want, I will be happy and I will enjoy myself. What do you disagree, Damien? Go ahead and tell me why I'm wrong. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, like, my name was brought up a couple of times. So let me go back in the annals of history 20 years ago or so when I was a single man out in the world dating. Okay. I had a different dating philosophy than the cats that are now. It was like this. I never spent $1, one single dollar on a woman I didn't think was going to be my girlfriend, or I could potentially be my girlfriend. You know why?
What's your body count, Damien?
It's pretty high.
You see what I'm talking about?
Girlfriend,
you got the cow for free.
Let me finish.
You got the cow for free, and now you're
hold on. All this talking about this stuff, when you brought up about paying for the dinner, I never spent $1 on a person, because I was in a different world where that wasn't, you didn't have to go out and take everybody out to like dinner. I was part of the 20-year ago hookup culture, so it was what it was, you know. But I'm saying, but when I got serious about dating, when it came to using my resources, I made sure I had multiple conversations. I made sure this person was somebody I could potentially see myself being in a long-term relationship. I went there and I took my time before I said, okay, I wasn't like, oh my God, you're so hot, I must take you out. You know, it was, all right, let's have a conversation. Let's have another conversation. Let's have another conversation. Okay, how about we go to blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, if you go there, and this is the thing I got when guys say, oh my God, you spend $200. If I took her out and the bill was $200, I probably ate about 120 of that $200. So it was two people eating there. It's not like I'm just tricking off $200. Like, here's $200 just to spend time with you. So I was enjoying the thing because, number one, I knew you well enough to know that I would enjoy my time with you, and it wasn't a big thing to spend the money to facilitate an experience. I didn't trip off that.
I agree with that.
I grew up, my dad said he paid for every single meal him and my mom ever did. And to this day, she still folds his underwear. All I'm saying is, like, when it comes down to it, there are certain things that you should listen to the guys who are kind of doing it the right way.
About that.
No, I'm saying it's just like, no. Let me finish. All I'm saying is, like, you brought this up. So if I'm telling a cat, don't go spend your money on somebody you have no intention of having a relationship with, how am I being? I'm not saying just go trick on everybody, but if you have somebody then spend your money. Be the man in the situation. Spend the money on it to invest in something that might be significant.
That's not the point.
Okay.
No, Damien, you are literally addressing a point that nobody made. I am a freak.
You asked me the question.
Damien, listen to me. No, Damien, listen.
Did you or did you not ask me that? Did
Damien,
you not ask me?
No, I didn't.
We're not getting past it till you answer it. Did you ask me, should a man pay for the bill?
No, I didn't. That was not the point. The point was
you're lying.
No, Damien.
Did you ask?
Damien, that was not the point.
Pay for the bill. Did you ask that?
I asked you, but that was not the point. Let me actually clarify.
Did you ask the question?
Damien, please, can you let me clarify the point, please? Because that was not the point. I did. I acknowledge it, Damien. I acknowledge it. I did ask you that, but I asked you that for a reason, Damien. I'm a trick. I got a girl, went to Rio de Janeiro. I go to Paris. I go to Moulin Rouge. I took a girl to Dubai. I'm a trick.
Have a good time.
I like to spoil myself, and if I can have a beautiful woman next to me, so I can enjoy the place, I will do it. If I have the money, it is what it is. It's fine. What I ask you the question for a reason, Damien. You were saying that men are not entitled to woman sex.
Yep.
But as soon as I flip it and I ask you, should women expect for men to pay the first date, which is literally the question, should women be entitled to a man wallet? Your answer was
You're not
yes.
gonna remix history, man. You're not.
How is that remixing history?
This is the remix, P. Diddy. This is what you call it. Basically, what
Damn,
you said.
can I ask you a
you didn't
question?
phrase it like that. Women should not expect men to do anything. Men should not expect women to do anything. I said women should expect men to pay for the bill. I said, you asked me, would Damien pay for the bill?
No, I said,
Damien
should the men pay the first date? You said yes. And then I went on and said, if you think,
in my view.
No, so most men, should men pay the first date? Yes or no?
In my opinion, yes, men should pay
so
for the first date.
So that's the point. You are literally saying that women should be entitled to men paying the first date, which is actually open their wallet to pay for shit. Let me ask you something, Damien, real quick, Damien.
Yes, sir.
When you found your princess, best woman in the world, we know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many cows did you milk for free? More than 50? Can we go with that?
I mean, what does that mean?
No, don't smile and don't smirk at me, Damien. I will ask you again. When you find your cow, I will put the 50 number. Did you milk 50 cows for free? Yes or no?
Yes.
So if motherfucking Damien milk 50 cows for free, why the fuck do I have to pay a premium and have a house and a nice car and all that shit when Damien fucker for a McDonald's and a glass of water?
Whoa. Hold up.
Hey,
no. Answer the question.
You don't have to pay. You don't have to do absolutely anything.
If you know that Damien did whatever he did for a glass of water and McDonald's, you could just be like, I'm past. You don't have to mess with her.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be with anyone that you feel that you're spending too much money on or that you're doing the most for.
Man,
if you want it for free, you could get it for free.
Man, that's not the point. The point is Damien is giving advice that himself didn't follow. He fucked all this woman and got all the milk for free, and then he's telling man, hey man, you should do this and you should do that and you should qualify. No, the answer is no. A man should come around.
Whoa. You're getting two things conflated. Number one,
yes,
there's a difference between dating and hooking up with. I dated a different thing than I hook up. I dated women. I talked to them. I got to know them. Then I decided whether or not I want to move things forward. Hooking up was hooking up. I mean, I was in the club culture and what you call it. So it kind of went with the territory. But when I was serious about getting to know somebody, I stepped away from that. When I was single, I was very single. When I was in the dating pool, I was very much in the dating pool, doing dating. I was dating differently than the way I was single. And my mentality was different when I was dating somebody than when I was single. If I was dating you, I've talked to you, having conversation with you. You knew where I lived. Or you were coming over my house. We were going out, spending time together. I wasn't doing the same shit. I wasn't hooking up with other people.
That's not what. Let
me just step in real quick because we're coming to the end of the show. Man, shout out to everybody real quick. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. Thank you so much. Shout out to the panel. I appreciate you guys for being on here, and we definitely disagreed on a lot of things, but thank you for having the open conversation. But I just thank you so much for everybody that super chatted. Let me just double check, make sure I got everybody. Appreciate your super chats as always. Thank you for your support to the channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But let me just pass it to the panel. Thank you so much for the main panel. Thank you so much for the public guests for coming on here and be part of the conversation. Now, Wednesday hot topics, we keep it hot on here. We have hot topics to discuss, whether we agree or disagree. So thank you so much. But let me just pass it to the panel real quick. What's your final thoughts from tonight's conversation? And if you want to say, share your socials for people to find you. And this is my curiosity. I just want to ask the ladies, when you share your final thoughts, do you think that men should expect sex? And then just give your reasons why or why not on your last thoughts. Because I know a lot of the fellas, we took a lot of the time. So just want to hear from the ladies real quick when you share. So let me start with the ladies. I'll start with you, Christine. Thank you so much for jumping on. What's your final thoughts from tonight's discussion? And do you think that men should expect sex when if he goes on a date, and why or why not? And then if you want to share socials, go ahead, Christine.
Do you mean like on the first date if they should expect it?
if a man takes you out, do you just your own opinion? Do you think they should expect sex, and why not? Why do you think that?
I think it would depend on where they want it to go. So if they're just looking to hook up, then yeah, you would expect them to just expect sex. But if they're actually looking to date and then marriage like in the future, then no, I think they should spend that time to actually get to know each other and then jump into that whenever it happens.
Okay, fair enough. And when final thoughts, and how can people find you?
People can find me at Christine Moum.
All right, Christine, thank you so much for jumping on for tonight's panel. Appreciate it. I'll keep it moving to Yadi. Yadi, thank you so much for jumping on as always. Do you think it's okay for men to expect sex in a date?
No, not in a date.
Okay. All right. Final thoughts.
And
How
I
can
do
people find
believe
you?
men should be paying. If they're asking a woman, then they need to be paying. Or I'm not going, So
Wait, you qualified that. Why do you say not in a date? Why do you say not in a date?
Carmen,
okay.
You are my favorite, but she did what every woman does. The person who asks for the date pays it, knowing that 99% of the time the man asks for the date.
I'm
like this is just a man should play with players.
Y'all don't factor in that this woman, if you're choosing to date somebody with kids, which I have, right? So I'm gonna have to find a babysitter. I'm gonna have to, and I want to look good for you. Like, I'm investing in me to look good for you. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm
And
going
I
to
have to leave all my hoes to be with you. My hoes need attention too. I'm leaving them to be with you.
Let it close. Let it close.
Pay me reparations for leaving my woman, my 7th-wonder woman, to be with you, sir.
But find me on IG, Soul Sorceress HTX, and I appreciate everybody's views on this. Even if we don't see eye to eye, I can see your side and why you would think that. And so thank you, Will, for having me on.
No worries. Thank you so much, Yadi. I pass it to you, Minna. Minna, final thoughts. Should men pay for sex, and how can people find you?
Well, you can find me on IG, I'm Minna Mercy, and TikTok, I'm Minna Mercy. And should people expect anything from other people? No, at this point, people are just toxic as hell. So if you're going on a date and supposedly he's going to pay for you, make sure you got your own money just in case he decides to pull like a refor Uno card on you or something. Just make sure you can take care of yourself. If you find one that is willing to pay for you, that's fantastic. That's great. Keep it. If not, make sure you can pay for yourself so you can get out of the situation. No harm, no foul. Done. That's my opinion on that.
All right, Minna, as always, thank you so much for jumping on and being part of the panel.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It was nice meeting all the new faces.
Annalyn, thank you so much. And I know I appreciate you for putting the effort because I know the time zone difference is really brutal for you.
Yeah, we're going on 6 a.m. now.
Yeah, I do appreciate you for making the time and being open to have this open conversation. But what's your final thoughts you want to add on, and if you want people to find you?
I agree with her that nobody should expect anything from anyone. You can ask, but you don't get to be pissed off or angry if you get a no, is my opinion. And you can find me on all socials at Anne Knud, ANNEKNUD.
All right. Thank you so much, Annalyn. I really appreciate making the time. Pastor the fellas, final thoughts, and just keep it short. Fellas, keep it short so we can end. But I'll pass it to M Hoop. Final thoughts, and how can people find you, M Hoop? As always, appreciate you for being on the panel tonight.
M Hoop 234 on Instagram. Thanks for having me again, Will. Always a good conversation. Everybody on the panel was great. I just think it was cool. It's I love these opportunities to learn more, gain more experience. Because I just try to be a sponge in the whole social environment so that I can navigate it that much better. And I think I'm doing pretty well. So I'll go ahead and leave it at that. Thanks for having me, bro. Always a pleasure.
Oh, always. I really appreciate you making the time, M Hoop. Devil, final thoughts. How can people find you?
It's good to see you guys again. Couple old faces, couple new. I wanted to add if there's any broke guys in the chat working at Walmart, smoking weed, living on their friend's couch that peaked in high school, I'd have just as much smoke for them as I would, the 40-year-old women demanding what's his name, fucking Cuba Gooding Jr., whoever's in nowadays. Who's my mom into? Idris Elba. You know, it goes both ways, and we have to hold both genders accountable, because at the end of the day, people are going to live happier lives if they're realistic about what they can get and how they need to improve themselves to get the people that they aim to get, to be the mother of their children or father of their children. So, you know, it comes from a place of hope and love. But unfortunately, we're just so far from reality today that we have to have these tough conversations. So I appreciate everyone who had the strength to push back against each other, you know, and I'm glad we could do that without threats and being too at each other's throats. It was fun. You can find me on Instagram. I'm Devil's Advocate 304. That's probably all I'll put out there for now.
All right, appreciate it, Devil. As always, thank you for being on. I pass it to you, Damien. Damien, thank you for first time meeting you here as a public guest. Appreciate you. Definitely would love to see you more on the panel. Final thoughts, Damien.
Yeah, what you call it? I don't really like do a whole lot. I used to have a podcast called "Can I Get Some?" podcast back in the day. It's got some old content on there. You can still check it out if you want to. Now I'm just a guy who pops up on a panel here and there just when I feel like it. Nothing really significant to promote. It all comes on with me. It's just like, you know, rock with the people who rock with you. Don't try to convince people to rock with you that don't rock with you. That's all, you know. And the way you find out if somebody is rock with you is you talk to people and then you find out who fucking rocks with you. You know, don't delude yourself and think, oh, this person is rocking with you when they're showing obvious signs that they don't. You know, so you'll be a lot happier if you're not trying to change people's whole world or judge people's whole world in order to fit in your box. Just find the people who has the congruent values with you and just rock with them, get to know them. And then before you go, then you had nothing to complain about, because if it goes wrong, it's on you, men and women.
Okay. All right, Damien, appreciate that. So, that was you. Can I get some pocket? That was you on Saturday.
That's me when you was on there. You had my homegrown Carmen on there on Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, that was that was Carmen. That was your. Okay.
Yeah, we used to kick it in the same spaces back in the day.
Oh, because you're from the Bay. I forgot. You said you're from the Bay. Oh, okay. All right, appreciate it, Damien. And hey, if you're ever in the Bay, just let me know, man. Just slide down to the studio for the Saturday night.
All good, brother.
All right, I'll give a big dog barking. Thank you for jumping on as always. Final thoughts.
Yeah, let me go and keep this shower this week, because my wife talking about she can't go to sleep till I get in the bed. So but yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Big Dog Barking and on IG at Big_Dog_Barking. Just hit me up and subscribe and like and comment if you need to.
Okay. Big Dog, as always, appreciate you being on the panel. And last but not least, Fatty, Team Fatty, final thoughts.
So, Will, I admire you because you can recruit 4 women while I can't even recruit 2. So, very sad about it. I need some lessons. It's okay for you to train me. I don't take offense to it. It's just a position of power where I concede to you that you're better at recruiting than me, and I won't feel some type of way because you call it training or mentoring. How dare you? I'm equal to you. So I just want to thank Annalie for not being a good sport, because she kind of wasn't a good sport.
And neither were you.
No, it's fine, but there's the thing, right? I was on an echo chamber for 10 years. I was one of the social justice warriors that every single time accountability comes our way, we find an excuse to do this and this and that. I wasn't trying to target you. I think your story is fascinating. I actually think you should write a book about it, because it's as interesting as that. It's just the fact that what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. I did a lot of wrong in my life. I did a lot of mistakes in my life. And it's fine for me to own it and to say, yeah, maybe I was not in my right frame of mind to do it. I'm not saying that there's your case. I'm just saying that when we get on these conversations, when we are when we are contradicting ourselves, and when we are actually having some kind of not confusion, but cognition dissonance about what we ask first and then what to present later, I think there needs to be some understanding about going back and forth. So I appreciate you being here. I know it's not easy. I'm a veteran on this. I understand that it's not easy to be on your position and being scrutinized to the way that you were today. So I hope you come back, and I'll be nicer on the second time. That's always what happens. You can ask Carmen and,
We'll
and
see.
Mena. So I appreciate you for taking the time since it's 6 a.m. there, 5 a.m. here. I want to thank Will, my boy M. Hoop, my boy Devil, Damien, a man's enemy. Damien, I have my eye on you, Damien. Better stop. My boy Big Dog Barking, Annalene, and Christine. Thank you for actually making this show extremely enjoyable and no hard feelings. I appreciate you too. So I hope you see you next week, I guess. If Will invites me. I think Will is nah, I'm kidding, Will. I know you're going to invite me. You better invite me, Will.
I always invite you.
You better invite me, Will.
I always invite you. You know
Better
that.
invite me.
But also, just a real quick, tonight's panel was full. I saw some people in the back trying to get in. So just let you guys know that the max limit is 10. So when we do go live, if you see us, you have to jump in real quick. First come, first serve. Just want to let everybody know because I saw a couple of people in the back, but the panel was already full tonight. So just to make sure everybody know that we go live next time. If you do want to jump onto the panel, just click on that link and get on here.
Look
fast.
at Will getting famous. People fighting together in his panel. Look at him.
Hey, trying to get like you, brother. Trying to get like you. But yeah, click on that link. We do this every single Wednesday. So make sure you if you see value in the content, you enjoyed, had fun, entertainment, whatever the reason why you're here tonight. I appreciate if you like and subscribe. And I appreciate shout out to everybody that super chatted. Definitely appreciate you for the donation to the channel. And so that way you get notification. We do go live next time. It's a public show. Everybody can join, whether you're welcome, agree or disagree. But also to the panel, thank you so much for making the time. I know you guys all have different time zones. Until next time, I'll see you guys next time. Peace, y'all. Peace. You guys have a good night.
You too.